Oh God. What's going on, internet? Welcome to episode 20 here on the Summit. And by now, you know that we're the podcast that shares with you all of the latest and greatest gaming, anime, and pop culture news, saving you all the time of finding it yourself. If you're listening to this, you can find us on all major podcasts and platforms. We're available on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Don't forget, if you want to reach out and keep up with us, you can always find us in our Discord server over at discord.gg/the summit. While you're at it, go ahead and follow us on our social media platform over on X at The Summit Gaming. Again, that's over on Twitter for all you old heads, and our handle is at The Summit Gaming. This is an easy way to stay connected with us, and you will find daily gaming news as well as any updates about our show over on that way. But enough of all that. Bring you in for today's episode. I'm your host, your boy Ashy, and with me are my co-hosts who make all this possible. First and foremost, starting with Mr. Morale and the big stepper himself, Rain, aka CJ. Go ahead and bring us in with some big energy for today's 20th. God damn it! I almost had it. Damn it! I almost had it.
Big 20, big 20, you know?
20th episode. I almost had it.
Start from the top.
Welcome back, guys, to the Summit. It is me, Rain. I'm still continuing my intro with big energy because, last week we did do episode 19. When you got the notification, it might have said 20. There was a huge typo, but that's okay. We on top of our shit. And
Striker is our editor. He did that.
That's wild, yo.
We do blame all of our fuck ups on Striker. I do like that. Let's keep it going.
Yes, sir. And we one take Drake over here, so we don't redo anything. It's a one take show. And our next host has whispers floating around in the streets of claims stating that he was giving up on gaming for good to become an electrician. And you heard it here first on the Summit. Ladies and gents, Razor SJS, do you debunk or stand by these diabolical claims?
Where you be getting your rumors from, pal, huh? I need to know. Who's the leak? Who's the source? Because he's wrong. He's terrible. So you should get him replaced for real. Because I'm not giving this shit up. But the second part is still true, But, people like to twist your words sometimes. It happens.
It do happen.
You got to straighten it out sometimes. No beef, no nothing like that. Hey, guys, welcome back. Big 20. Glad to be here. 20 in a row, guys. That's, I think, a little clap on the back for us. That's consistency, That's a bit of consistency there, We like that. I was thinking about that today. Glad to be here. Happy to talk topics, and I want to see how high we can go without missing an episode,
Ooh.
I'm here for it. I'm locked in.
Oh,
and if I'm not locked in, I got 3 other hosts to do it for me, so it's cool.
I'm saying, yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, you, sir. Actually. And last, but definitely not least, our next host. Well, word around the grapevine is that he's working on his second child, and he's secretly been praying for a girl so that he can finally know and understand what Joe felt like when he took Ellie under his wing. Mr. Reason with no absolute reason. Striker, no short of the almighty. Go ahead and speak your piece for today's show.
That's interesting. Actually, I was playing a Naughty Dog title earlier today, and I showed my kid.
Which one?
A classic, Jack 2.
Oh God.
Yeah,
that is a classic.
Should have known it'd be something from the 2000s,
right? Old ass.
What's wrong with that, yo? That's back when gaming was great. Quick plug and play. All you need is a memory card with like 16 megabytes on that.
Did you blow on it?
Nah.
What if you couldn't afford the memory card? And, your family didn't know what it was, so they refused to buy it for you.
Beat that shit in one sitting, Dad.
Don't turn it off, Mom, please.
You come over to school, who turned the PlayStation off?
Shit, no bullshit. August is the worst time to game, to be honest, especially in Florida. Let a fucking hurricane come through. Please don't take out the power.
I was cleaning up your shit. You wasn't cleaning.
Cleaning shit.
This is a prison.
Turn it off.
My favorite was when they buy you games and then they get mad that you playing it too much. You playing that goddamn game too much. What the fuck you buy it for?
any other time you get me a gift, I'm unappreciative.
Hell yeah. Now I'm appreciating some shit is a problem, man.
Appreciating it too much,
Get off that motherfucking game.
Go outside.
And then you see them go sit down in the living room and watch TV. It's like, yo.
Hell yeah. I'm grown. Stay out of grown folk business. Like, all right, bro. Oh my God. 20th episode, everybody. That is a pretty good feat. Not most podcasts don't make it this long, actually. So you know what? We're ahead of the game. when it goes to that. It's still not much news.
They not like
It's been a
us.
dry month for the gaming community, but we're still going to bring you a show because the show must go on. Ain't that right, boys?
Show must go on.
It must go on. It must go on. But we have a few announcements. We have the First Descendant that has released finally. It is free on all platforms. I haven't touched it since we played it in beta. I think y'all are on it right now, are y'all?
Phenomenal
At
game.
the moment.
Okay, we're gonna start with that since Stryker got something to say. Go ahead. Wait. Before we get into all that, I do want to say that the goal of the podcast, our first sponsor, we need Smart Food to come on and sponsor the podcast. Like one day y'all gonna hear this, and we saying it now. We're gonna timestamp it. It is July 7th, 2024, and unofficially, I'm marking the start of wanting Smart Food to sponsor our podcast. So just putting it out there. But Stryker, since I heard some bullshit come out of your mouth, I'm gonna let you take the floor about the First Descendant. Great game, huh? Tell us about it.
Yeah. Look forward to that sponsorship. What you mean? Hold on. Hey, let's take it back a little. What was the need for that toxicity?
Oh shit! I'm sorry. It's been a
no, it's alright. It's alright. First week of a month. Fair enough.
Mhm.
The First Descendant, amazing game. Definitely. Like I said, this is one of those games that if like you were looking into like a looter shooter or something to like really like mindlessly grind. Sure, the missions may feel repetitive. Sure, some people claim that the AI is absolutely dumbed down to a sense that it doesn't feel challenging in a sense. But this is one of those games that people just got to understand. It's not meant to really give players a hard or difficult time. Like the experience of the game isn't within the difficulty of it. It is the content and everything else that they provide you with the game in the game. And the content and what they do provide as far as gear, equipment, weapons, loadout, character loadouts, abilities, and even the maps or worlds that you can traverse to and explore. It's massive. The game is absolutely massive, and I feel like it being this early and this huge, it can only get bigger from here. And a lot of people are just not realizing that or saying that. They're just kind of taking the game for its face value of it being a shooter.
Are you sponsored by the? Are you sponsored by them?
I'm a critic.
Okay. Just make sure. No, but I hear that. Anybody else got some opinions that kind of counteract what Stryker just said, or like how y'all feeling about the game? Razor and Rain. I know y'all touched it.
I've only
about the longevity of it,
Mm.
and I'll let Razor say his piece before I say that. I guess.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I don't have much to say because I don't have too much time on it as of yet. I just basically did like the beta over again, and not even full beta because I think in the beta we got to the second world too. So I haven't experienced anything new. I have been zooming through it. Striker did kind of hit on the major negatives of the mission repetitiveness, and there's not much. Yeah, so that's the big thing, the repetitiveness, and it can be a little dull with difficulty wise. But then again, I guess maybe if you're under level, that's different. But so maybe people give it a while, because that's another thing, right? None of us have experienced in game, so like, and I think especially with like an MMO looter shooter, you should really base your opinion off how the end game is, because that's where the majority of the content is. So I don't want to give too much of a solid opinion yet. I don't think I have enough time to really dig in there, and
Okay. Rain.
It is a grindy game. Like it. My biggest comparison would be Warframe, and a lot of people are comparing it to Warframe, where since it is a free to play game, a lot of the things that you see geared towards it's gonna like microtransactions run the world. I mean, they're gonna encourage those. Everything is gonna be fueled through money to generate, for those developers to continue to get paid. People are calling it the Warframe with sexier skins, basically.
Okay.
The gameplay loop, the story wise, like I don't know if the narrative really gets players invested or if they're actually skipping through dialogue, because each time you do go to an area, there is a vast amount of dialogue with different the different fucking NPCs in the games that you interact with, the guide, all the other characters. The Descendants that you could even play as have various different vast amounts of dialogue throughout the story too. I have watched people that are like max level, because max level is 100. I think the average player probably won't get max level for like a week or two.
God damn.
But the above average players have hit 100, and then screamers hit 100 like within 3 days.
Damn.
Because they get paid to play the game, obviously.
Yeah.
And their biggest gripes that are notable is like similar to the situation we were in Diablo, where we were just farming nightmare dungeons at the end, I guess. They don't know what the state is. They feel like there should be more content, or when is going to be a big push for content. Since it is a relatively new game, they did say the end game felt like it was at a state of lackluster shit to do, I guess. Besides just, grind, crafting materials, upgrade materials that you need to continuously, like that gameplay loop, I guess.
Okay, and your music's leaking through, by the way. But do you see any like longevity for the? Do y'all see any like longevity for the game?
I mean, if they actually put out content and build on the hype that they're generating, sure. But you could end up in the same state of Helldivers 2, which has recently seen a 90% player fall off.
Has it really?
Damn,
90%?
Fell off hard.
But aren't they like? I thought Helldivers 2 was pretty good with like updating their content. Are people just bored of it right now?
I mean, season passes, yeah, but that's like that's not really their content. They took a different approach to it and didn't call it a season pass, so it was like called some other shit in game where you could earn super credits, weapons, and things like that. But you're still doing like the same planets, the same mission types, and fighting the same enemy types, which were the bugs and the automatons. Yes, occasionally once a month they would add more onto those enemy types, I guess, but I don't think they are in that state now because they're currently trying to develop for the production of or pushing out their third enemy type, which I guess maybe people are taking a break from the game to come back for that, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm reading right now. Well, the thing about Helldivers 2, I kind of felt that when I was playing it initially. I only got a few hours in that game. I think maybe like 20, but it didn't really seem like a game that was going to last too long anyway. When I was playing it, it just seemed something, that was, hyped up a little bit, something to put in some time, for the first, maybe month. That's how long it lasts for me. Maybe I think it was more like a few weeks, but I didn't see really any real future for Helldivers 2 anyway when it dropped. But a 90% drop is crazy. I didn't expect it to drop that much this fast. But I mean, it's hard keeping up with these MMOs, kind of, man.
And also we're in a period where there wasn't really many games dropping. It was at the beginning of the year. Our biggest title before that was Power, I think. Or was that after? But I mean, yeah,
around the same time. Razor, you got anything?
Oh well, nah, y'all pretty much hit it, but yeah, it's hard to keep player retention nowadays. It's just difficult to keep that if you don't get constant updates. That's just kind of what happened.
Striker, your mic's leaking too. That was quick. Boy, muted that shit so fast.
Not around here, partner. Not around here.
Yeah. Well, we got some just some new releases currently. Well, as far as like the mobile scene, we got Resident Evil Biohazard has released on the fuck. Did I hear that, or am I tripping?
Oh, what'd you hear?
I hear like it's my stopwatch on Google Timer. Oops. All right. I don't know why the fuck that one like that, but Resident Evil Biohazard has released on the M series and iPhone 15 Pro models.
That is insane.
It's insane, but here's the thing about these ports, like these ports on these mobile games, because I tried Assassin's Creed Mirage on my phone. It just didn't run. Like it It just didn't run. It was working, and then there was like some glitch that just like caused all the graphics to just be distorted. And I thought it was like, okay, maybe like a simple reset. No, that's just the game. And I was looking through the reviews of like Mirage specifically, and yeah, apparently it happens to everybody. Apparently what happens is they port these games to, I don't know if they're gonna do the same thing with Shadows, because Shadows is a pretty big title coming up, and that's like a big deal on like Apple Silicon right now for their gaming side. So I think maybe they'll put a little bit more attention into it. But as far as like these ports that they have now, I feel like they rushed them out just to be like, hey, we have games on Mac and we have games on iPhone, you know, because once they released them, that was it. They didn't do any patches to them. Some of these games are $40. Like, it's like, and people are paying for it. You know, people are paying like $40 to play, to like unlock the full game, and they're getting these game breaking bugs that are causing them to not be able to play. And then the developers are just like, that's it. It's abandoned ship. Like, we put the port out, we did our job. You know, we sweep our hands clean of that. And it's kind of embarrassing because it's like, damn, like that's kind of like obviously it's gonna get better in the future. And I think Shadows is gonna kind of pioneer that. But as of right now, these ports are just awful. So Resident Evil, I think, has decent reviews on Apple right now. Some people are like, yeah, this works okay. It's nothing great, but it's still lazy. You know, it's a bunch of lazy content being put out. It's almost like it's forced, you know, just like an agenda. Like, hey, we crossed our I's, dotted our T's, and that's it, you know. But it's there for everybody interested. It's there if you want to be a risk taker. You want to buy it for yourself. I think it's $40. Don't quote me on that, but it's not free. Go ahead and purchase it on your iPhone 15 or later.
Scary. Don't toss your phone now.
Right? Don't break the phone. Shit. But yeah, that's that.
Resident Evil game though.
We have so Dead Rising. I guess they're still trying to make games. They're not really making a game. They're remastering their. I guess it's Dead Rising Deluxe. It's a remaster dropping September 18th of this year. They're saying the game was gonna run at 4K 60. So. I mean, that shouldn't be too hard. The game is like very, very old, but it's just a remastered port. So they said they made improvements to the NPC behavior. Don't know what that means because, you know, they're pretty brain dead anyway. So I guess any improvement's an improvement, but, you know, slap a little headline on it and sell a game, I guess.
Who in here was the Dead Rising fan? Was that you, Striker? He's probably still muted.
He's still muted.
I was muted, but no.
Somebody in here. Oh, really? I swear when we brought this up, somebody in chat.
I enjoyed Dead Rising when on the 360 days. I did. They're like the first one.
I think Uprising was the last one that I played.
Uprising?
Yeah, I didn't play Island. I think Island was the most recent one or something.
Yeah, like Island flopped bad. Like, yeah, and that was like that was a 10-year wait, or it's a 10+ year wait. That one flopped bad.
Was it? Because I thought Uprising came out in like 2014. Like, I played that one on Xbox One.
Well, it is 2024.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like, Island dropped what, 2022? 2022.
No, Island dropped last year, I think. Okay. I think it was more than like a 8+ year wait for something. But I think it was Dead Rising 2. So I think they were basing it off the first Dead Rising. So like the wait between Dead Rising 1 and Dead Rising 2. Dead Rising 1 was pretty. I enjoyed Dead Rising 1. It was like, you know, a little hack and slash zombie game or like I think 4-player co-op or whatever. But that was back on my 360 days. My opinion on gaming was totally different. Like, everything was just like, you know, cool or whatever. But you don't really see too many flaws when you're a kid. But it was fun. And then Dead Rising 2 Island, whatever, came out, and I think it got a lot of hate because it played the same as the first one, and then there weren't many improvements, and then it came out buggy, and it was just a whole shit show. But then like the game kept getting canceled and reestablished and canceled and then re-put back on the map like several times throughout those years. So it was kind of destined to fail regardless. So it's kind of wishy-washy. But for all of you interested, they have Dead Rising Deluxe Remastered dropping September 18th. So that's what we're doing. The Elden Ring, we have Elden Ring news. I guess the seamless co-op mod now works for the DLC. I don't know if y'all heard that, but I guess now the mod works. And then Resident Evil Razor, this might be more of your realm, but the Capcom confirmed the next Resident Evil is in the works, and it's led by the Resident Evil 7 director. So I didn't play any of them. So was 7 good or something?
Yeah, 7 was really good. It was like the last really scary one. Village wasn't bad, but just in comparison to 7, you know, it kind of paled. 7 had the atmosphere and everything. It was pretty dope.
Got you.
So yeah, it might be a little more horror centric. I mean, still, of course, guns blazing. You know, that's always going to be part of Resident Evil. But you know, I gotta say the art direction of 7 is probably one of the best in the Resident Evil series. It's up there with like 4 and all that.
Okay,
that's pretty reassuring to hear.
Well, yeah, we don't have much in the news really, so I mean, I guess we can just like kind of chit chat a little bit. So what y'all been playing this week? I've been kind of MIA for a little bit.
Sir, you know.
Unfortunately, work has been, you know, draining my ass, but you know, we trying to be here at least. So I picked up Sekiro.
Yeah, I haven't been able to catch you stream it, but yeah, I did see.
Yeah, I ain't been streaming it too much, but I will say the game is difficult. It is a skill check, and I will say that it gives me the same feeling. I tweeted about it, but gives me the same feeling when I played Ghost of Tsushima. Right off the bat, like almost immediately loading it up, I was like, "Oh, this feels good." The story was very captivating from the moment, like literally the opening scenes were just drawing you in. At least me. And as I'm playing it, I'm like, "Yo, shit! It's like the mechanics are fluid, everything's like working flawlessly. The game's not bugged, and I'm playing on PC, but the game's not bugged. Everything's working smooth. The story looks very interesting. And then you know the fights, the combat. It's not overly complicated, you know. Like there's not a lot to know, but there's still that skill check there, you know. And then I think I fought my first real boss today. That took I think 9 tries out of me. Took like 9 tries out of me. But the game feels good. Like I'm really liking it. I know I shouldn't have jumped from Elden Ring to Sekiro. And I'm kind of bouncing through games this month, but I don't know. It was just on sale, and it was only like a 15 gigabyte install. So I'm like, all right, let me just open it, and it just feels refreshing. I'm not gonna lie.
Let me just open it.
Let me just open it. You know, so I opened it. It was.
Just make sure it can run.
Yeah, let me make sure it can run. Yeah, it runs. So shit.
Let me see if they got a boss.
Yeah, facts. It is getting like it's that From Software shit, man. Like it's dude, you can't just relax. I can't just relax. I'm sitting up here playing the game, and I finish the boss, and immediately I'm getting jumped, and I'm like, "What the fuck, bro? What the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Why can't I just enjoy myself, explore a little bit? It's not an open world, but still, you know, just like run to some dialogue. No, I get jumped, and of course, you know, if you die, you lose a bunch of shit, and then there, like, unlike Elden Ring or any other Souls games, there's nothing like. You don't pick your shit back up, you know. You just fucking die. You lose a lot of your progress on, you know, like stuff that help with your stats. And so, at least that's from what I'm seeing right now. And so I'm like, man. So there's a lot to the game, and I don't know how long it's gonna take me to beat. But I was looking at like a bunch of, I guess, articles or whatever. And it takes a while apparently, which I'm like. Well, it's like a 30-hour in length, but if you want 100%, it's 70, which I thought was weird because I'm like, the game is literally like 18. It's like, I think 15 to 18 gigs. So like, why is 2K 200?
Because, bro, they want to make sure they the only game on your console, so like that way you don't have the option to pick something else.
Shit is absurd. It is actually shit. Yeah, you don't.
It's like yeah, we the only thing you installed, buddy boy. What you
want to play this game? Well, I don't want to delete 2K, so I guess I can't, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Speaking of storage, though, everybody who doesn't have an SSD in their PS5, well, you know, an upgraded SSD, because like most of y'all don't. Y'all run with that stock bone drive. What 800 gigs? That really drops down to what like 7 something.
Oh, 6.
6. Okay, so
Yeah.
about what Call of Duty and 2K? That's it. All right, yeah. So,
Yeah.
Samsung's got their 980 Pro SSD, and it's 135 right now for 2 terabytes. So go over to Best Buy, and this is not sponsored, but go over to Best Buy and cop you one because we all know y'all need that storage. A lot of y'all bone dry on y'all storage. So, little side note, but yeah. So I've been enjoying that for the most part right now. Was enjoying Elden Ring 2 as well. I beat what's his name? Godric? That was the name.
Dragon arm guy?
Who?
Guy with the dragon arm? Was the second page?
Yeah. Got Dragon on
Godric.
Godric. Yeah. I beat him second try. Striker, how long did it take you to beat him?
Yeah, man, just turned it into a competition, bro.
I'm just asking a question. Striker?
I don't think
Anything?
that man come to the phone right now.
Crickets? Okay. You ain't home? No one's home.
Nah.
No one's home.
Yeah, that's something we can do because we were gonna start a brand new seamless co-op run, like
Ooh,
with
I wanna
me,
do that.
Rain, because
Wait,
y'all
were y'all
want to do one
talking
too? Huh? We were.
Yeah, I was asking how long it took you to beat Godric.
Oh, Godric? Not
Yeah.
long actually.
Did you
I
one
feel
shot
like
him?
Godric is easier than Margaret. Margaret, my bad. Got to say his name correctly.
Did
Now,
you?
why
How many
did you
tries
do
did it take you to beat him?
I heard 2 questions. What was that?
How long did it take you to beat Godric?
Godric. On my first run, I beat him in like 3 attempts.
I beat him in 2.
Damn. Didn't
Yeah.
know we was competing like
Yeah,
that.
that's plan,
Yeah,
boy.
I was just saying.
Yeah, that's plan.
Nah,
Just
that's
saying.
wild, yo.
In the second attempt, I could have summoned the chick,
Sorry,
but I was
Bakugan
too
sucks.
stupid to summon, so I didn't know where it was. So I still beat him. Just letting you know. Just saying,
Sorry, Bakugan sucks.
Now that was so uncalled for.
It
That
was
nothing
very
to do
uncalled
with
What was you saying, Razor?
what was I saying? Jeez.
Seamless co-op.
Oh yeah, we're gonna start a
Hey,
new run.
yeah.
Me, Rain, y'all want to win. So if you want
Yes, I do
one in
want
on
in.
a seamless co-op run on Elden Ring,
I do.
we're gonna start that.
Definitely
Yeah.
want to see you in that seamless co-op.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean see me? Like fight me?
No. Like, see how you doing it. Because it's like, yeah, it's the same experience, you could say, but it's kind of different. Like, to balance it, they had to, instead of individualize the stat, they had to merge all the stats or the experience that players would, I guess you could say, experience. So there's this INI file that you can modify.
Uh-huh.
But by default, each enemy in the game, their health is increased per player that's within your instance.
Damn. Is
So
that okay?
by default, it's 100% per player. So if you have 3 players in there, the boss is gonna have 300% health.
What the fuck? Are you serious?
Mm-hmm. So some fights that would typically be easy or not too bad it's kind of annoying because they have more health. And
so what happens when people die?
You sit there and spectate and hope your team can carry. And at that point, like, you can see who does get carried.
That's gonna be me. I'm gonna be getting carried.
Hey,
It's gonna be a whole lot of spectating time. A whole lot of spectating time. I think that'll be the best way for me to finish the game, though, because like time management, time is a bitch.
Honestly,
man. So
yeah,
it's like very like I know I can beat the game, but it's very annoying to having to like just keep exploring and dying.
How do you know?
How do I know?
Mm-hmm.
Because I beat games.
he said he's him.
I beat games. It's just the time. Like I could either take another year to beat Elden Ring on my own, or I can have fun and play it with y'all. Like I'd rather just have fun. I mean, realistically though, no. I mean, realistically though, like it's almost August. Fucking Wukong's coming out. Like I'm gonna play that. Assassin's Creed coming out in November. We got A Life is Strange. I'm playing that. We got at least 4 more games that's coming out this year that I'm gonna play.
You can't complete a title, bro.
Damn.
I can complete a title, not in a good time manner, like not time frame. Like I just not nothing that long. Like think of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, right?
You just beat Stellar Blade.
Stellar Blade's a 20-hour game.
And you beat another game before that, Hellblade. That's 2 games in the time.
Ronin?
I didn't beat Hellblade yet. I didn't beat Hellblade
Ronin.
yet. That shit's 4 hours. I beat Ronin, yeah, but that was like, yeah.
That's 2 games you completed in the time.
How many games came out this year and I only beat 2? That's the thing, though. I only beat 2 games this year. We the 7th month of the year.
How many games have come out that you like?
Oh no, we beat Suicide Squad. That's 3.
Okay.
Well, I mean that comes down to are these games really good? Are these games? Well, I don't want to say are they for you, but like as far as like holding your attention or retaining your attention, and this kind of factors into like if a game is good or not.
It does.
Out of these games that you have completed, why? I guess you could say the ones that you haven't, Elden Ring being one of them, because you did beat God of War.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna bring that up. I'm gonna absolutely. You know what? No, I'm gonna bring that up. I'm gonna start this debate.
No. Go ahead. That's a good conversation. Go ahead. Yeah.
I'm gonna bring this debate.
Yeah.
So you finished God of War, both 1 and 2, Ragnarok, right? You were able to set that time aside. How were you able to complete those within the time that was mentioned and whatnot? But you can't complete a game like Elden Ring.
I see
where you can even go through just the main bosses and not really have to fight side bosses to complete the game.
Well, because with Elden Ring, what I'm finding a better option for me is to explore and level up before I just go like rush into the main fights, because it's just making that like the only reason I was able to beat Godric so easily was because I was around his same level, if not a little bit higher. And so, and my experience with the game was slightly increased because I put like a few hours aside to explore and, learn play styles and stuff like that. So fighting him was easier. But that being said, this is a very massive open world game, like what we're talking about. So as we all know, Elden Ring can be played many different ways, right? You don't have to like set challenges for yourself, or you can set challenges for yourself, right? But it's one of those games for me, how I want to play it, I want to explore. That takes a lot of time. Obviously, we got life, we got work, we got all this shit coming up. We got the podcast, we got other games that I want to play, we got other games that I want to cover. Content creation wise, there's just so much going on that it's like I don't have the time to sit here and only play Elden Ring and sit there for hours upon hours. Like this week alone, I've been MIA. I probably barely touched my game more than 3 hours this week, and that pisses me off. But life be coming up. Like I'm factoring in life, right? I see what you're saying about the stuff like Ragnarok. I'll even take it back to this year, right? With Ronin. Like, no, I'll take it back to Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade captivated me enough to kind of just play it all the way through because one, I had the time, I guess, for that week, and then two, I don't know. It's just it's linear. Like linear games are different for me because I can knock down a linear game way easier than I can knock down an open world game. Like,
what is y'all said? They played it safe.
What did?
No, I'm saying like what y'all typically pin these games to. They play it safe.
Yeah, a lot of times they do play it safe, which is why you can beat them a lot easier. I mean, that's usually how linear games go, though. I mean,
the only thing I'm saying is if you want to complete the game in co-op, you shouldn't say you can beat the game until you've beaten the game.
But isn't that beating the game?
Nah, not really.
Why not?
Because like beating the game is like there are summons, NPCs, and anything else at your like leisure, but you're talking about beating it with niggas that have already like beaten the game. You know what I mean?
What does that matter?
Because you like you just said you already said you're gonna get carried, right?
Well, yeah, but
now
like,
now you're saying you could beat the game. So if you could beat the game, you wouldn't be getting carried.
What I'm saying is for like Elden Ring, if we're talking about Elden Ring, I'd like time wise, instead of me spending like the next year playing it and exploring it, which is fine, but I kind of want to beat it. It would be fun to do a seamless co-op with it. I don't see the problem with that. Yeah, I don't understand this whole mentality like within the Elden Ring community to like everybody has to play. No, but people do say it. No, but people I'm not saying you saying, but people say it. That's a real that's a real thing going on.
They want you to experience the game, but I'm saying that experience none of that, like all that aside, I'm saying you can't say like that's like saying we're telling Scracker he can't say something's harder than Elden Ring when he hasn't experienced Elden Ring. You can't say you can beat this if you haven't beat this, and your intentions on beating it would be co-op, which isn't technically beating it.
Yeah, but I want to play co-op, and I'm not
I
about to.
know.
But the thing is,
saying
I'm not
that's
about to
okay.
miss out on the seamless run because I didn't
I'm
beat
not
Elden
saying
Ring.
you
Though.
can't,
That's what I'm
bro.
saying.
I'm saying you shouldn't say you can beat the game if that's not the route that you're taking of actually beating the game. That's what
But I
you're not
can't beat the
understanding.
game.
I'm hearing you say it, but I'm saying you can't. Like, there's nothing to back that up.
What is there nothing to back that up though? Like, what I don't understand. Why it's not an impossible game.
Okay.
And I don't understand. I mean, I get what you're saying because you're like, oh, you haven't beaten it, so you can't say you haven't beaten it. But what's to say I can't just go back after a seamless run and play it again?
You could
from the stuff I've learned from the seamless run.
At that point, I feel like you could say I could beat this game. You know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair assessment. But I'm talking about my argument is the fact that time wise, and for me to enjoy the game and have
that's
fun
not
with
what
the
I'm
game.
arguing at all, and that's what I keep saying. So I don't know why that's a thing. I get you don't have the time, bro, but I'm saying you shouldn't say I can beat this game.
Well, I can.
I mean,
can you run for president?
You can say it.
Can you run for president?
Can I run for president? Yes, but that doesn't
have
mean
you. How can you say that if you never ran for president?
Because I can run for president when I'm 35. Once I'm 35, I could go fucking write my name on a ballot, and that's me.
Okay, then I can beat Elden Ring next year. So what are we arguing about?
That's not the same thing. Though.
That's definitely the same thing. What are you talking about? That's definitely the same thing. What are you talking about?
There is no prerequisite for running for president besides being 35. If I don't live to see 35, I can't say I could run the president. But no.
Okay, can you run a marathon?
Can I run a marathon?
Yeah, can you run a marathon? You can't run a marathon?
No.
Are you just saying that to prove your point? All right, no, better one. Can you beat a shark?
That's a trap.
Can you fight a shark?
Can
you fight a shark?
I can fight a shark.
How you know that? You never fought a shark.
I have punched a shark.
Can you win in this nigga, bro? Niggas will say anything. Niggas will say anything to win an argument, bro.
No, but I
mean, say anything to win an argument, man. Oh my god. Can you fight a shark and win? In the ocean.
No, I can't.
Why not?
Fight a shark and win in the ocean.
That's not what you said on the boat. No, Razor. That's not what he said on the boat. That's not what he said on the boat. We gon' no. Say what you said on the boat. Say what you said on the boat.
That's not what we doing.
No, yeah, that's what the fuck we doing. Yes, sir.
That's not what's going on here.
Striker, I'm gonna update you, bro. This dude said we was on the boat, and this dude said that I don't know how the fuck it even came up, but somehow he was like, I would just fucking punch the shark in the nose, and I would just keep wrapping around him and hug him. He basically said, I'm gonna hug a shark, and I would drown him because sharks need to swim.
Bro, he was like, I'm gonna hug it to death.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? What the fuck are you talking about? And he stood on that statement. He stood on that statement all trip. All trip. So can you fight a shark and win?
Fighting a shark and winning, no. Once again.
But you said that a few weeks ago. What changed? What changed?
That's different. The question changed.
Nah, hell no. That ain't changed, bro. That ain't changed.
You asked me before.
That shit ain't changed, bro. That shit not changed. That shit not changed.
I don't get it, bro. It's the same situation. If you saying someone can't review something without experiencing it, I think you can't say you could do something.
But why are you not? Well, no. But you can experience Elden Ring in a co-op mod.
Yes, but
it's a different experience. It's a different playstyle, but you can still experience it.
In that situation, once again, we're talking about the beating it.
You can beat Elden Ring in a co-op mod.
And what did I say when I said that earlier? I was like, summons are there, NPC summons are there, and then you could summon other players. The co-op way, like the seamless co-op way, I don't think that's like actually beating the game, bro.
Okay, so if I beat the game by summoning Razor every fight, is that the same thing?
You can't summon him for every fight.
I can summon him for like the main bosses.
You can't summon him for every main boss.
Okay, but most of the main bosses, if I summon them for that, right? Is that not beating them the game?
That's the same thing. Yeah, you can do that.
So why can't I just do it seamlessly without the interruption?
Because like, what did he just say we were doing for the seamless run? One on top of that, it was 4 people included on the seamless run, right? Mm-hmm. You automatically can't summon more than 2 other people in your world normally.
Mm-hmm.
that would be different, right?
But Striker just said the health bars like go up by 100% per player. So doesn't that make it kind of harder?
That should make a difference to 3 other niggas that have already beaten the entire game, bro.
Are these characters at different levels, or are we all at the same level?
We're all gonna be at the same level.
So wouldn't that present some form of difficulty?
You should at least.
There's gonna be a challenge.
Yeah, what's the divide between your group?
No, because if you like die and drop your runes and don't pick them back up and die again, you still lose it. Like just still got that's what I like. That's why do you assume there's a divide, yo?
Yeah, you just said that with a sly ass remark, bro. He was like, "You should," like that was a shot at somebody. I was like, "Damn,
no,
yeah, they beefing out there." Give my runes, man. I know you. Where the fuck my runes at?
I don't know. I think
saying you shouldn't say I already know I could beat the game if you don't know that.
You already know you can beat the game, actually.
I do know I can beat the game. I know I can, 100%. What, Kai beat the game, bitch. I'm a gamer. He's not a fucking gamer. What the fuck we talking about? What are we talking about, bro? What are we talking about? Like, what are we really talking about?
Summons, bro.
He did it with no summons, and I'm summoning niggas. Like, what was the difference? What
He beat the whole game, no summons.
That's cool for him.
You saying you could beat the game.
What the fuck they got to do with me?
You're using summons, and you're okay with running through it on a co-op mod. That's what
I am.
Like, it's discrediting his run, saying like he not a gamer when he did technically play it the hardest way.
I'm not discrediting Kai, right? But I'm saying Kai wasn't a gamer coming in, which is probably why he struggled as much as he did, and he still beat it. He's played video games, yes. Okay, niggas can play video games, but they don't make him like
IRL 24/7 screamer.
But him beating Elden Ring, amazing feat, right? Especially for someone who doesn't primarily play video games, especially somebody who's never touched a Souls game. So pretty amazing feat in my eyes. But he made that shit very difficult on himself, for the challenge. Obviously he had an incentive of it, over it. But everybody don't have to play that way.
Everyone doesn't have to play that way, which is why there are summons in the game for you to use and things like that, is what I'm saying. I'm not saying the game's impossible. Like, that's what you're not understanding. I'm saying you shouldn't say you could do it based off someone else's merit unless you can do it, bro.
But I can. But I can.
Well, somebody tell you what
I'm saying, but I can. Like,
absolutely.
What are you talking about? Like,
I'm not saying you can't.
This shit ain't impossible. It's not rocket science. It's a video game. What the fuck are we talking about, bro? What are we talking about here?
The same skill issue everybody be talking about. The same reason niggas put games down. It's the reason you stop playing the game, right?
If I can't beat a boss by myself, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna summon a nigga. Look at that. What we talking about, bro? I'm gonna beat the game.
Bro. You can't summon a nigga for every fight once again. Like, some of them fights you have to fight on your own.
Then they just gonna have to get beat. Whether it take 1 or 100 tries, they gonna have to get beat. What are we talking about?
I'm here.
What, I'm gonna just quit? Have you ever seen me quit a game?
Yeah.
What game have I quit? What game have I quit? What game have I quit? Power World, don't say that shit. I don't give a fuck about Power World. Don't say that. I don't care about that damn game. Don't say that. What game have I ever passionately played that I quit? I'll wait.
Do you passionately play Elden Ring?
I just picked it up, nigga. Damn. I just picked it up a week ago. Damn. Nigga. What, you want me to spend 24 hours a day on it, bitch? Like, goddamn. What the fuck? I like the game, bro. Let me play the game, bro. Like, what is the problem?
I'm let you play the game, but I'm saying you shouldn't say you're going to beat the game if you can't beat the game.
But if I beat it on I don't understand the problem. Like, if I can beat, what's the problem with beating it on a co-op mod?
I just told you that. You're gonna make me repeat that for the third time. Once again.
No, okay, Razor, what's the problem with beating it on a co-op mod? You don't answer. I'm gonna ask Razor now. What's the problem with beating it on a co-op mod?
Well, in my personal opinion, there's nothing wrong with it. I get what he's saying, but like, I feel like y'all are arguing over like two different things. Like,
he is.
What he's saying is kind of irrelevant to like playing. He basically said that in like objection to one specific sentence you said, and you're applying it to your argument. Y'all like, I was gonna let it go because it was entertaining, regardless. But y'all doing it for no reason.
He keeps going back to that, and I'm saying I'm not saying he can't do the co-op mod run or none of that. That's not at all what I was saying. I'm glad you see that. But
I know that, but that's what sparked your argument. That's what I'm saying.
It's not.
Well, then what sparked your argument? What did what I say sparked your argument?
The literal phrase, I already know I could beat the game.
And I can. Just like you said, you can beat a shark in the water, right? So I don't understand how those are different. I really don't understand how those are different. You've never fought a shark. You've never fought a shark. So how do you know you can beat a shark in the water? So what are we talking about? Like, what are we saying? No, you can't do that. You can't retract a statement just because it's better for your argument. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. I literally, people make statements all the time.
You asked when we were on a cruise, bro, and you can pretend that it.
No one even asked you that. No, you just blurted it out on the cruise. No one asked you that. No one said, "Hey, can you beat a shark?"
Conversation about why we could, like, because he was like, "I'm surprised you haven't said like you could jump over and do something to a shark yet." And then I was just like, "I definitely could land on the back of a shark and hug that bitch and push it backwards." That's how that conversation went.
But you've never done it, so how do you know?
About that. I mean,
no, that's your argument for me, though. That's your argument for me, though.
Scenario when we were talking about that, you're talking about something you actually doing. So are you joking about beating Elden Ring, bro?
No, I'm not joking about it. But you sounded pretty 10 toes on your statement.
Oh, but then why didn't I jump off and fight a fucking shark, bro?
I don't know.
10 toes.
I don't know, because it's stupid.
Mystery.
Because it's a dumbass idea. Because you'd get killed. That's why.
Okay.
It's not physically possible. That's why. You know why? Because the shark is fucking humongous.
For you to beat Elden Ring, bro. I guess if we're correlating those statements, right? That's how that works.
See, now I feel like this is like mind control.
It's not though.
I feel like this is like fuck that. You can beat Elden Ring on a seamless co-op, and it's perfectly fine. I'm standing by that one.
But that's not beating the game. That's not saying I can beat this game and then it being you beating the game. Like that's the only way you play the game.
Okay, so say I'm playing, say on my own, because I got this.
GTA
I can't
5 with cheat codes, bro. Beating the story with unlimited health. Did you beat the story on GTA 5?
Technically, yeah. You finished the story, you got to the end, right? Yeah.
Yes.
You just didn't play it how it was intended, but you beat it, technically. On a technical note, you beat the game. You know what's going on in the game, do you not?
I don't know. Do you?
Yeah. I mean, you still beat it. You cheated, but you beat it. You know what's going on. You know the story. You know how it ended. You know how it played out, right? Do you not? Maybe. Yeah, you do. So what's the definition of beating a game?
Beating a game?
What does that mean?
It means
Are you talking about beating the game without cheating? Beating the game without assistance? Beating the game without handicaps? Like, what are we talking about? Because beating the game is beating the game.
So are you asking a question for your own question?
No, I'm asking for you, honestly. Your definition of beating a game.
My definition of beating a game is beating the game. That's what I just said.
That's vague. What is beating the game? Completing the game can be me doing it on a seamless mod.
Okay.
And that's beating Elden Ring.
But once again, if we're doing this by my standards, like you just asked me,
that's what I just asked you.
For completing the game, right?
Yeah.
My standards of completing Elden Ring would be not with the seamless co-op. That's what I just said. I said
that's not what you just said. You just said beat the game. You literally just said no. It's you just said. I asked you what's beating the game. You said beating the game.
What did I say earlier about seamless co-op? What did I say? We can spin this a whole circle. When I said the seamless co-op run, what would it be for you? I wouldn't consider it what? If you listening.
What? You said you wouldn't consider it beating the game, and that's when I said I would.
And that's what I just said just now. Again, we're going in circles here.
But that's not concrete. That's not concrete.
Game. I wouldn't consider it beating the game. Me personally, I would not consider beating the game on a co-op run beating the game. So yes, you can beat the game on a co-op run once again for the 20th time. But I wouldn't go around saying I could beat this game if the only way I had to beat this game was on a co-op run, which is the statement you said earlier that I was arguing about. Now you're trying to say,
but I understand that statement though.
Okay, then what are we talking about?
I understand that statement, but what my statement is you're saying that, yeah, and I understand that one too, right? But here's my quarrel, because I know I can beat the game. The whole point of this conversation came up.
I hear you saying that.
Because I said, this came up because I said, hey, I am down with running a seamless to experience the game because of my time constraints, which is very valid, right? Is it a valid argument?
Sure. That's
Okay,
not what we're
all right.
arguing, but yes.
That wasn't an argument. That was a statement. Okay, so I said I would be down running Elden Ring because on a seamless mod because of my time constraints. Like I said, how I'm playing Elden Ring right now is time consuming. Is it going to be beat on my character? Yes, it is. Is it going to be beat by next month? No. Next 6 months? I don't know. Beyond that, I don't fucking know. Shit, I might have time next month and just run it through next month. Play 100 hours in a month. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I couldn't tell you. But it's going to be beat. That is a fair statement. Have you ever sat down on a video game and said, hey, I'm going to beat this, but you haven't beat it yet? I'm pretty sure you have, right? Okay, so why can't I make the same statement? But in the meantime, I don't see the problem with running it seamless with my friends. And if I happen to beat it before I beat it by myself, okay, so be it. Now I'm just getting more experience with the game. I can still come back and beat it by myself. That's not a problem. There's no problem with that. I can still beat the game. Like, just because I play it seamless don't mean I'm going to put it down.
That's
like,
cool. I never said any of that. Once again,
I'm making a statement.
I don't think you can beat the game until you beat it solo.
And that's fine. I mean? That's valid.
I had a problem with the statement where you said I can beat this game. I don't know if you can. Is what I'm trying to tell you.
Why not?
Because I don't know if you can. It's a difficult game. Same thing I told Striker. I don't know if he can beat it either. I've watched him play it too.
Okay, once again. But why not? Why not though? Because it's a difficult game. There's plenty of difficult games. Why not?
People quit difficult games is what I'm saying.
Have I been quitting it though? What are we talking about?
It doesn't matter. Have you been quitting it? Do I think you're gonna?
What are you basing that statement? What are you basing that assessment off of though? Where are you basing it off of?
Have you been?
Oh, that's subjective. Any game can be difficult.
Okay.
Like you put Ronin on the hardest difficulty, it could be difficult. You put fucking Celebrate on the hardest, it could be difficult. I'm playing Sekiro, which is considered harder than Elden Ring. It's difficult. So what are we talking about? Like any game you can think about.
Games? Have you beaten Sekiro, that last game you said?
No, I just started. I have 2 hours in Sekiro.
I wouldn't even have mentioned that. But this is the same treatment Striker got, right? I don't think Striker could beat Elden Ring.
I never said Striker couldn't beat Elden Ring.
I'm telling you, we talking about me right now, right? My opinion,
but he's beating it. He's beating it. So where's that even coming from?
He's going to beat it though, right?
I have faith in him.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
He's a pretty competent gamer.
That's not what we talking about. Though.
I appreciate that.
You have faith in. I'm saying the same thing about him.
But you're not giving me a reason as to why you believe that though. You're running your mouth. Why do you? Why though? Why?
It has been difficult.
Okay. That's why have
you don't have any experience in my eyes? Like, right, when somebody provides a resume, usually it's got some past jobs on it in that field, and you're like, all right, he gonna get the job done. You ain't got nothing on your resume that I believe is that difficult, so I don't think
subjective
complete it. And that's how opinions are subjective, bro.
Yeah,
it's my opinion. That's what.
Okay.
Gotta get on that, that mind wave. It is an opinion, and I'm stating.
Well, I think just because people ain't beat Dark Souls 3, 2, 1 doesn't mean that they can't beat Elden Ring. I mean, I don't see where that comes from. Beating a video game really just takes fucking dedication. It doesn't really take much.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I don't think you are going to beat it, bro. That's it. It's not an argument thing. You don't have to argue about it.
Sounds like you just got to prove him wrong. You see? Yeah.
That's it. I don't get why you want to argue about it. It's just
so if I beat Sekiro, which is considered harder than Elden Ring,
then I'll be like, I think you can beat Elden Ring.
That don't make no fucking sense. That's fucking stupid, bro. That's backwards as fuck, bro. That's dumb as shit, bro. That's dumb as shit,
mentality, yo.
That's dumb as fuck. That's fucking dumb. Like, what are we talking about?
Sekiro's a difficult game.
It is, but what? So what if I can beat Sekiro, but I can't beat Elden Ring?
I don't think you would run into that trouble because I feel like Sekiro is actually harder than Elden Ring. So if you beat Sekiro, I would be like, you're probably more inclined to beat Elden Ring. Regardless of you taking a break or anything like that, at that point, I would think he's going to go back and finish it at some point because you beat a more difficult game.
And what if I don't?
Then you don't go back and finish it, bro. Then I would be wrong in that situation.
What? So what? What does that mean? Elden Ring's too hard if I don't go back and beat Elden Ring after I beat Sekiro? So what are we talking about?
If you don't go back and beat it afterwards, then you don't go back and beat it. You don't go back and beat it. It's that simple. My statements are, I don't think you're gonna beat it, right? You said why, and I said, what's your experience? You named a bunch of bullshit, and then Sekiro that you're currently playing haven't beaten. I said, ooh. Okay, then that's why you haven't beaten anything that I would say is difficult. Boom, you beat Sekiro. I'm more inclined to think you're gonna.
What's considered difficult? What's considered?
He doesn't
difficult?
have a large library to actually consider something difficult, yo. He's only played Souls game and first person shooters.
I'm really asking. No, dead ass. No argument. I'm asking, what do you consider difficult? That's what I'm asking.
This isn't an argument. It's a statement. The only other game you have said that is difficult was Kingdom Hearts, bro.
And they haven't beaten it. Because I dropped the game, but I'm still playing it.
I said, and I'm about done, bro. I'm on the last planet on Kingdom Hearts, and I live streamed my whole experience on that. And you just getting back on Elden Ring. Shut up, you stupid. Anyway,
you haven't beaten it. You still haven't beaten it. So you can't claim that it's interesting. So why does he need to beat Elden Ring then, or any difficult game to claim that he can beat it?
This situation that we
it's quite the same.
It's not the same. It's not
literally the same.
Why am I playing Kingdom Hearts, Striker? Because you said Kingdom Hearts is more difficult than Elden Ring and Dark Souls 2, right? Or Dark Souls 3. Dark Souls 3. It was Dark Souls 3. You said it was harder than that, right? You said it was the hardest boss, and then once you said that, you switched your narrative to saying the final boss on the game was harder. The only
I didn't switch no narrative. I said it from the beginning, and I also said the first one.
And you can rebuttal all you want. I'll let you spout your shit all day. Anyway, like I said, the only reason I'm playing that is because you said it was that, and then we both said, right, there was a bet/dare. I said I would play that game if you played the other game and beat the other game. I live streamed my whole experience on that game and got up to 9 hours live stream of me actually progressing through the story. Created different fucking characters, not jumped on co-op mod, not asked dingas to do a walkthrough for me, not go up on YouTube, none of that shit. I played the game normally like a dickhead would, right? And then you took a massive break off Elden Ring. So me and Razor, because Razor was also playing Kingdom Hearts, both stopped playing the game until we saw you try to fulfill or uphold your end of the deal. Yes, you are back on the game, and like I just said, I'm on the last fucking planet, so why would I get back on there and knock that planet out before I even see you make it to Atlas Plateau? What the fuck?
All right, so you get definitely at Atlas Plateau, but like you said, how he can't claim or say that he could beat Elden Ring because he hasn't beaten it.
Isn't a hard game. I said it's a Disney game. I'm not claiming anything about the stupid ass game until I beat it. That's not the same argument or same narrative.
That's quite the same argument because I said the only games you played is the only. Hold on. I let you talk. Yo. I say your piece, yo. Hold on. When am I going to be able to switch it up? Anyways, so like I said, you over here claiming that the only hard games that you played or games that you claim that are difficult are these Souls games. And like I said, y'all haven't really played or experienced anything outside of that or first-person shooters. So you don't really have a base or a standard on what difficult games can look like aside of what you experience. So you can't state or claim or say that these games are hard or these are like the standard to difficult games where you don't even know where the standard is or where these games kind of stem from. Because each one of these games are inspired by something that was previously made.
Name some more difficult games. Go ahead. I'll wait.
Huh?
Name some more difficult games.
Neo.
You're playing it.
Neo.
Or we're playing it.
What?
Ninja Gaiden.
I'm
naming them off.
No, I'm talking.
I'm naming them off.
No, I'm talking about what he just said. But I'm playing Ninja Gaiden. Go ahead, keep going. I said, what the fuck? What he said, because he said you're playing it or we're playing it. You said Neo.
We're playing it. You stopped playing Kingdom Hearts.
You said Neo. You played Ninja Gaiden. Yeah, okay. I played Ninja Gaiden. Haven't played Neo. What's another one?
Okay, so but I wanted to ask, what is the definition of difficult game? Because shit, I'm reading an article right now. It says Super Mario Bros. Is a fucking difficult game. The Lost Levels. So the Lost Levels, 1986. I've never played that. I ain't played that one. I'm not even gonna comment. I don't know that one. But what's considered a difficult game? Something that's difficult to me could be
a difficult game.
Something that's difficult to somebody could be super easy to me. Something that's difficult to me could be super easy to somebody. So what's difficult?
Have I beaten it? No, I don't think so.
That's a very subjective term.
No.
Okay.
There is a final stage in Pac-Man.
Cool. You've beaten Pac-Man yourself?
No, I have not, because the game is difficult.
Keep going.
Pac-Man is difficult. Pac-Man is a difficult game. That
Bitch
bitch is hard.
Keep going.
It's just shit hard as hell.
Name some more. Name some more that I haven't played that's not on my resume, brother.
Cuphead?
By your standards. I played Cuphead. Have I beaten Cuphead? No.
So you're just naming a bunch of games that you played. So we could just play these games.
I'm not naming a bunch of games I played. I'm asking you a bunch of games that are.
No, I said you're stating you played a bunch of these games.
You're
not stating. You're over here claiming that you gotta beat these difficult games to claim you played or beaten difficult games.
Witcher 3?
I'm just reiterating what you've been saying.
No, you're not. We gonna go right back to what you just said, bro. You said my experience of difficult games is Souls-like games because I haven't played any other games. I only play first-person shooters or Souls-like games. Did anyone else hear him say that?
I didn't hear that.
Yeah. What'd you hear him say, Ashley?
I might have been cut it out. I didn't hear it.
Okay.
I heard him say that. I heard him say that you played Dark.
I ain't gonna lie, that did stick out to me because I don't know if you noticed this, Striker. But when you started that statement, you said y'all. I don't know who else you talking to.
No, because you're crazy. A dick writer. That's what I was gonna say. You're a dick writer, and you're gonna agree with me in every argument. He said this before.
Hey yo, yeah.
That's why
you have said that. You did say y'all, and I was like taking it back. I was like, damn.
Was on his
who's
side.
involved?
It's cool. But
I can't confirm he did say that all y'all play are Souls and FPS.
Name no other ones too, and name some more. Go ahead. Some other games I haven't played, Striker, that you don't know. You just don't know the games that I have played, bro. You assume these things and you get emotional in your argument.
Jedi Survivor, it's pretty difficult.
I have played Jedi Survivor. I think that one is on Xbox on Game Pass.
Have you played it for real?
I have. I haven't beaten it, but I have played that game.
You're playing it on the hardest difficulty?
I don't think so.
That bitch is very difficult.
Lords of the Fallen is not well, I guess it's a Souls-like game, huh? It's not a From Software game, but it is a Souls-like game. A lot of like From Software games, because that's the developer, like have inspired that whole genre of Souls-like, which are typically more difficult games. I do have a lot of experience in there, and they have lately been trending, Striker. So yes, I have been playing that genre, but I do play other difficult games. I think there's a platformer game that I played that was actually probably one of the most difficult games I played, Mirror's Edge. I don't know if you've ever played that.
Mirror's Edge is fun.
I
like that game.
Right? What about? I think Dying Light 2 was pretty difficult.
Dying Light was a good game.
But
I like the first one a lot.
Difficult is kind of, opinionated for people because different people, that's why there's skill levels of people. I think I'm an advanced level gamer, so my difficult game would be.
I didn't think Dying Light 2 was difficult though. So that's what I mean. It's a subjective fucking term. Like
it is.
What's something that could be difficult for you may not be difficult for me, or vice versa. Like
at all.
So but that's what I'm saying. I don't under. Are you? But what you said, because you said it. You said I don't have any difficult games under my resume, and that's not true. That's not true. I just named some for you that you just agree with too. So I don't understand where that's even coming from. Just because you don't know you're basing this off the games that I played within the last 2 years, and that's not fair.
It is though, because if I don't know it, then I can't judge it off that. And you're asking me my opinion, bro. So how can I change?
Right, but your opinion is skewed because you didn't know all the facts surrounding it. I've played difficult games.
I mean,
I didn't. But you're acting like they're not that difficult. But they're difficult.
Like based off those things you just said, bro, I'm still standing on what I just said. It wouldn't change my opinion.
That's fine. I don't have to change your mind. But what I'm saying is I'm trying to come to some understanding. You can't sit there and say that, I don't think you can beat Elden Ring because I haven't beaten it yet. That's fine. No, that you can say it. You can say bullshit all you want. That's fine. I don't care. But what I'm saying is
bullshit.
It is bullshit. It is bullshit. It is bullshit. Because if I sit here and say, I don't think you can beat Star Wars, that's bullshit. I can say it, but that's bullshit because you probably can.
But Elden Ring,
you can beat anybody. Can beat anything they put time into. Like that's as long as you don't quit, you can fucking beat it. It is a fact. What is the main reason people don't play Souls games?
Because they can't.
Because it's a challenge. and they put it down. But
And
if they
you
overcome that challenge,
I'm saying you could not overcome a challenge too, right? You're being very.
but I'm not the type of person to.
opinion.
But that's the thing, though. I'm not the fucking type of person that's gonna put down a challenge because it's hard. When have you you've known me for what 7 fucking years? When have I ever fucking done that?
Bro.
When have I done that?
That's nothing that I'm holding into factor with this decision. With this decision, based off of what you do, I don't know. I don't think you would finish the game.
Based off of what I do, what do you mean, nigga? I got other things that come up. I don't have time to sit on the fucking game. That's not my fault. That's not my fault. Striker.
You're not understanding that I'm not talking right now. I'm not talking there's a timeline. I'm simply fucking stating I don't think you'll finish the game, bro. It could be 3 years, 5 years, 20 years from now. We could be talking about this bitch at our 45th fucking anniversary on episode 219 of the podcast. I don't think you'll be finishing the game.
I think it'll be a little bit more than 219.
I think you getting more personal.
That's when we start getting inconsistent.
Yeah, I think you getting more personal into it than it actually.
Because it's a personal attack. You made it personal. Yes, it is. You made it personal.
I said the same thing to Striker, so it's not personal.
It is personal. You made it personal. You said I don't think you can beat it, and I don't. The only fact you have on that is what you assume that I've never played a hard game, which is false. I don't know what that comes from. Yes, I haven't played Dark Souls games. That is true. That is a true statement. Sure. It's very true. I have not. This is my first Dark Souls game, I guess. I haven't played fucking 1 through 2.
To change my opinion to that, I don't think you will beat Elden Ring if you haven't beaten another Dark Souls game, bro. Well, that
I'm back. What am I?
I didn't know you left.
The same thing.
Oh,
you know
okay.
What I mean? Sounds to me like you just need to prove wrong, but like I guess
that's fine. But like, I'm saying that's just a fucked up way of having an opinion about somebody based off like basically nothing. I mean that's just what it is. Because no, that's just what it is. Because and then you're making it seem like then you're making it seem I don't know. That just didn't make sense. That don't make much sense.
Seem like anything.
No, you are because it's like. You don't have. There's nothing other than what you assumed that's guiding you towards your opinion, and it's like, what? I don't get that. I don't get that. Like, so if I beat Elden Ring, does that mean I can beat any other game? Is that like the bar for beating games? If I beat Elden Ring or some shit?
Elden Ring is not no.
So then, why can't I beat Elden Ring then?
Because I don't think you're gonna beat Elden Ring, bro.
Why?
Yeah.
Because you do you want
by that definition? If I do beat Elden Ring, I can beat any game.
No, that's
why not?
I'm not saying you can't beat Elden Ring because you haven't beaten another game. That wasn't my statement, was it?
What? Why is I'm playing Elden Ring. Is it annoying? Yes, but it's far from impossible. From what I've been playing so far. So why is Elden Ring held at such this high bar where it's like, this is the fucking pinnacle of hard peak gaming? Like, why is that?
Pinnacle of hard peak gaming either. We've said that too. But
so what he's saying is like he doesn't trust your back. He's saying you can't beat it because you haven't beaten any other specific Souls like. Because like when I'm thinking about difficulty, right? I think, like, of course it is, like, opinionated, but it's also, like, it depends on what the game's difficult about. Like, you know, the reason Mario's difficult isn't the reason Dark Souls is difficult. Mario's difficult because of platforming. Dark Souls is difficult because of, well, whatever you would say, right? So, like, I think he wants, like, he's saying he doesn't believe you can beat it because you don't have experience in Souls, like, which I will defend John for real quick because I haven't played the Jedi Survivor series, like, because I wasn't expecting it to be that, but it is definitely a Souls-like. So I think if he beat both of those games, he does stand a fair chance of beating a Souls game, a direct Souls game. In my opinion.
So you would prefer me to change my statement?
No. Stick with your opinion. That's fine. But what I'm saying is, you can't sit there because you made a statement saying that I've never beat any hard games, and that's not true because I've beaten both. But we just Star Wars is a Souls game. I haven't played Dark Souls. That's fine. But I played Jedi Survivor, which was actually probably my first entry into a Souls-like game. And I beat those on the hardest difficulty. So I don't understand where it's like, and that's not an easy feat. That's not something that's not an easy game. Like those enemies are fucking annoying. Like a blaster can one-shot you. Like you have to be very attentive to it. And it's like, so I don't know. With me, the thing is with me in beating games is if I'm sitting there dedicating my time to it, I'm going to beat it. Like I'm not just about to put in 20 plus hours to a game and drop it. I've never done that. So I'm trying to see where you've gotten this opinion from. Yes, there have been plenty of games where I pick up and I'm like, okay, like we've had this talk on the podcast. There's been games where I picked up, didn't like, and then I pick them back up a year later. I have a great track record in that. So I don't understand where this whole conversation came from. Oh, you basically made it seem like I don't fucking beat games, and I'm like, I don't even know where that fucking came from.
Because I also said earlier explicitly.
You just said a few minutes ago, I don't think you'll beat it now, 10 months from now, years from now. So where's that coming from? I actually enjoy Elden Ring.
Beat that game, bro. I mean,
why? I enjoy it. I'm going to play it. Can you deny that I have a track record of playing games and beating them that I enjoy?
I stated my opinion about it, and you keep asking me to defend it for me to.
I'm not asking you to defend that. This is a whole different conversation. Can you agree that I beat games that I dedicate my time to?
Where is this gonna lead to, bro?
Because if I have a track record on that, then I can have a pretty good track record and pretty good probability of beating Elden Ring. Then
you're not gonna ask me to restate my opinion, though.
No, you don't have to restate your opinion. Your opinion is your opinion. You don't have to change it for shit. I don't care.
Okay,
what I'm saying is, this is a different conversation. Can you agree that I have a good track record with beating games that I put my time into?
Games. You have a track record of beating games.
No. Can you agree that I have a good track record of beating games that I put my time into?
I agree with what you said.
Okay. So how does that not apply to Elden Ring?
What does that have to do with anything?
Because if I'm putting my time into a game, I'm going to beat it.
Then you basically just said it's not going to go back to me changing my opinion, and then you brought it back to me changing my opinion. Is what I'm trying to get you to understand.
No, I asked you a question. I didn't say change your opinion. I asked you a question.
That doesn't
to make you think.
What's the basis of the question, bro?
Answer the question. That's the fucking basis. I don't know. Answer it.
Again.
Fucking answer it. Don't move around. Answer the question.
I'm not moving around the question. I'm saying, what's the point of it? Go ahead, ask it one more time, bro. Go ahead.
If I have a track record of beating games that I invest my time into, and I'm investing my time into Elden Ring, why can't I beat Elden Ring?
Because I don't think you will beat Elden Ring. Damn, we back at square one.
Because you stubborn. That's your fault.
No,
that's your fault.
You're trying to get me
no. That's what the fuck it is. It's always been that way. No, it's literally all. No, nigga. No, I'm not trying to get you to change your opinion, bro. But that's just how you are, bro. You know you're no. Because you know I'm making sense. You just don't want.
Because my opinion.
What am I not making sense about? What am I not making sense about? What am I not making sense about? What am I not making sense about?
My opinion is you're not going to beat Elden Ring, and you're trying to correlate it with a bunch of other things to change my opinion, bro. That's why it's not making sense when I just told you you're not going to change my opinion, and you're still trying to change it. That's not making sense to me.
Okay, moving on.
There you go.
Oh, dude, I was willing to see that out too.
There was no seeing it out, bro. This nigga don't listen, bro.
For me, I'm a spectator.
Nigga don't listen, bro.
I ain't need a satisfying ending. But I would like to take it back. I do like, what do y'all think are some of the most difficult games you played over your lifetime? Because, like, honestly, I think, like, a lot of the shit y'all say was new gen, because, like, it's just, you know, because it's safer, you know, developers don't want to make a game hard, because that's bad for player retention. You know what I mean? So, like, I feel like that's more of a new gen thing.
Is it bad for player retention, or is just kind of more accepting that like a lot of players or a lot of people, or I guess you could say mostly the generation that really sit down and would invest about a couple hundreds on a collector's edition is mostly
Imagine you play something, you try anything, and you try for a few hours and you just can't get shit to work. You just don't understand it. You're not getting nowhere. You're going to drop it. It doesn't matter what it is. So, yeah, I think it is bad for player retention, but at the same time, you know, like the Souls games have like proven that some players really love that. But like with Elden Ring, right? The reason I think Elden Ring has so much success over Dark Souls 3, Sekiro, and all that other shit, right, is because it has the options to make shit easier for yourself. So like if someone wants that challenge, but then they get to a point where like, oh fuck this, there's ways around it. Like for the DLC, the new Radon, there's like a build you can use to where you don't even have to dodge. You can just block and make the fight easy as shit. And a shit ton of people cheese them just because they're like, oh fuck this bullshit challenge. And it's like, so that's why, and I think that's why Elden Ring is like the Souls game to make it on top. I can't speak so much for Sekiro because I did miss it that year, but like, because I know I also won Game of the Year. But I think Elden Ring is undeniably bigger, right? And it's because, unlike Sekiro and Elden Ring, you have the tools to make the game easy, right? Give like the seamless co-op mod, for example. The devs themselves are promoting it. Why? Because they know people who aren't willing to go through the challenge to beat the game themselves. they'll be more than willing to jump bosses with their friends, and just have fun. Right? Like Striker, I think you and your group are a perfect example, right? Not saying that y'all couldn't do a solo, but you quit your first solo run in order to play co-op mod and then start a new character when you had better knowledge. High Roller, he said he quit on Godric, or like the soldier of Godric, right? But he's playing with y'all doing that because y'all doing the Sims co-op mod. And the other guy, who I'm not sure who this is, but y'all say he's dog shit and like he would never do anything by himself. He's playing with you guys. You know what I mean? And so like, or is that not Nemo?
No,
okay, that's someone else y'all talking about.
Nemo's in the DLC right now.
Nice. But I think I think making the game overly difficult is terrible for gamer retention. And like Mario's a good example. Mario is hard. I can attest that like late game Mario levels are hard. But by the time you get there, that's like the Star World. That's the secret world that's after the campaign. That's only for like the fucking completionists and shit are only gonna do that. Everyone else gets to experience the full game and story without those hard levels because they come after the Star World, right? See, that's great. Did you do every star
yes,
point?
I did.
You see, but shit was challenging, right?
It took months.
If that was World 1, would you have beat that game?
No.
Fuck no, exactly. The difficulty is hard for player retention, but like somehow, some way, Soulsborne has made it to where it's popularized it crazily enough, right? Because even when you talk about like DLC, right, some of it is split. There are some people who saying the shit's too hard, and then there are like Souls veterans who are saying, "Oh, don't soften the game down because new gen players think it's too hard." Why do you think that splits there? It's because it's because difficulty isn't fun. Right? You got to remember, a lot of people who play games, they are casual. They don't bother looking shit up, or unless it's overly difficult, they don't bother min-maxing like we do. A lot of people play video games in a very casual way, and for those people, if something's over the top difficult, buy. Don't let them be within that refund window.
Right? So I think the most difficult game I've ever played. Y'all gonna laugh. Y'all gonna laugh.
I'm gonna laugh hard.
Most difficult game I've played late game.
I'm sorry.
Is Wizard 101. 100%.
Wow.
Y'all cannot have an opinion over it because
I
never played it.
What I was gonna say is that is valid because that's an MMO, and like late game, that is probably mad difficult. I can't.
It's I'm talking about like how y'all were in those, I guess, dungeons in Destiny for hours upon hours. I've literally spent probably my max time.
What are you talking bad about like that?
No. I understand it. No, I understand it, dude. There's been multiple times where I've skipped school because I was stuck in a fucking dungeon in Wizard 101. I've spent probably max time I spent in a dungeon in Wizard 101 was 18 hours straight. Like me and my boy, that game was and it's not because like, it's because like that game has cheats. Like when you get higher levels, and like y'all are like, obviously things get easier as you pass stuff like that, and then you can go back and the cheats and you're stronger. Obviously things work out better, but as you're on that level in real time and you're trying to fight these bosses, there's cheats that can instant kill you. Like if you make the wrong move, if you heal, you get an instant kill. Like there's just a bunch of shit that makes this game, and it's turn-based. So, it's a lot of strategy involved in it. And so there's a lot of things that make Wizard 101 very difficult. Now I can't really, a lot of that shit got nerfed because there was a lot of response on the community like, oh, this is too hard, and hey, we need this dumbed down. So a lot of shit that I went through, players won't go through again in those certain levels because they got nerfed tremendously. Like I've even noticed that going back through and playing it like sometime last year. I was like, this is actually kind of sad the way that they just took all the fun out the game, because that did make the game fun, how difficult it was and stressing over it and actually like sitting down. And this was before there was wikis on like these certain bosses. Like there were no wikis out yet because we were playing the shit day one. So we had to literally scramble and try to be the first ones to figure the cheats out. Yeah, there was grind to the shit, man. And so like, I'll stand by like Wizard 101 is the hardest game that I've ever played in my life because of the time, dedication, and the amount of like just brain power you have to put into like an MMO like that. So that'll probably be mine. Yeah, that's gonna be mine. I'm gonna stick by that. That's gonna be mine. It's a lot to think about the console.
On top of PvE, what's the hardest PvP game you've played?
RuneScape, easily. PvP. Good lord.
PvP game that I've played.
Take some time to think about it. Someone else got an answer for the other one. So
Are we talking about like online? It's like online, right?
Yeah,
Like
like
yeah,
against other players. Yeah.
hard. Naruto. I say Naruto. Naruto.
Ninja Storm.
Yeah, the Storm series. When you play against like actual like YouTubers and people who do it for a living, yeah, 100%, 1000%. That shit gets.
Do you equally struggle in Smash?
Smash. I'm not a big Smash player. I've only played Smash like casually. Like, but I've had there's members of my family because they grew up on that shit. They play that shit religiously, and like going up against them was just annoying. I'm like, bro, y'all just beating the shit out of me. I'm not even having fun. Like this is I'm out of my league, you know. But I'd say for me PvP wise, because there's not many PvP games I've played besides Naruto or like the anime games, so I wasn't into like Mortal Kombat like that or Tekken or anything like that. So I'd stay for me Naruto. It'll be Naruto Storm series at a higher level, not like you just playing against some random nigga online, you whooping his ass, but like as people you actually go on 1-for-1 for. Yeah, I say that.
Thinking about it, we might damn near have to go category by category when it comes to PvP.
Probably do.
Because like I'm thinking like fighting game, why? Because like it's kind of hard.
There's fighting, racing, basketball, sports games.
Racing would be.
Look at him.
Basketball.
Small world. Let me see.
PvP. What about PvE?
Yeah, I'm thinking PvE.
Halo 4 solo legendary campaign.
Yeah, I could see that.
I can see Halo 4. Yeah.
Prometheans are annoying.
Actually,
I
enjoyed Halo
honestly.
4. You said what?
Oh no, go ahead.
I was just saying I enjoyed Halo 4. I know it got shit on a lot when it first dropped, but I actually enjoyed Halo 4.
I wanted to ask, like, what range, like, what timeline we going by, like, or like within?
I mean,
360 era, PS3,
all time for real.
all time.
Although I will say a lot of old games difficult because of bad game design. Don't get that.
That is true. That's very true.
I was gonna say no. Pac-Man,
Huh?
Pac-Man is there. That's arcade though. We can go arcade.
Yeah,
that's kind of different because it's an arcade game, it's designed to get you to want to play forever. That's why that ending is so hard to fucking reach, Which I mean, that's still.
Wait, is it really an ending?
Well, there's a final level, but then you keep doing the final level over and over.
Oh.
So like I guess the ending is seeing all the levels in a way, right? Which is I get it because it definitely is hard if you're counting it that way. But like also that game, like in a sense, it was never meant to be beat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why it's built that way. Like arcade games, they want you to play forever, so there is no ending. So I don't know if those really. I mean, unless you want to give it its own category of arcade games, like never-ending games.
I guess you can. Yeah, I think you're gonna have to.
Like, it's got to kind of fit.
You gotta have a different kind of mentality when you play those kind of games.
Yeah. I mean, definitely.
Story. So what about story game? Single player, like complete single player.
I want to say Symphony of the Night, Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Is that older?
It's a 96.
Damn, you play old games.
See,
my bad. I lived.
What made that difficult?
So actually, funny enough, the game kind of plays like a Souls-like game where you have your main bosses. You got this giant castle. The whole Dracula thing, and that one specifically, you're playing as the son of Dracula. You're called Alucard, which is Dracula backwards. But the whole point is just to try to save the Belmont, Richter in this case, and traverse the castle, defeating the bosses and whatnot to kind of get to the center where Dracula is in his coffin, and he's holding Richter Belmont, and you're trying to like free Richter Belmont. Now, where I say that this is similar to like the Souls-like game is. You do have like these save points in the area within the castle. You can traverse throughout the entire castle in its entirety, and the game doesn't just end at defeating or what may seem like defeating Dracula. There's actually two parts to the game. There's the main castle and then the inverse castle. But to get to the inverse castle, you have to defeat additional or side bosses to get to him. So you'd have to find key items or certain items and figure out the puzzles and whatnot. And the enemies do scale by the area that you're in the castle.
And I'll stop you for a second.
Yeah.
Like those are like functions of the game, but like what made the game difficult, right? Like for example, right, if I was talking about Lords of the Fallen, one reason Lords of the Fallen was hard because of mob density. I'm talking about Elden Ring, specifically the bosses, right? Like what specific things about it, not the game itself, but what specific things about it make that game difficult? You know what I mean?
The bosses, I would say definitely the boss. Well, both bosses and the mob density, because they did put a whole bunch of bosses and some or enemies in there, and some of those enemies, no matter what gear you have, can one shot you regardless. But the bosses as well, like they have state phases to them, and their attack patterns changes depending on the phase that they're in. Well, not changes, but they'll have additional attacks. That's why I state that the game is kind of Souls-like, or reminiscent of Souls-like, and kind of where that Souls-like genre came from or was stemmed from, I guess you could say. But it's not the only one that did that. You still have like the whole Metroid series and that Metroidvania. Or,
I don't know for me on a single player yet.
It's pretty hard.
Brainstorming.
It is pretty hard to like.
It's well because how I feel about difficult games is like you were saying, games. Any game can be difficult, right? My biggest problem with games are when if I'm already locked into a game, I find it difficult to go to another game. That's why I like to beat them before I move. I'm having a hard time doing that now, but because if I go to a different game, the controls are funky to me. I'm like, fuck, I got to readjust my headspace. I got to readjust where I am in this game. I got to kind of absorb myself into this game now. And I found that to be like the transition is the most difficult for me for games. But as far as like calling it difficult, I say each game just has its own learning curve. Like once you get the learning curve down and you start knowing the game and getting more experience with the game, they inherently become easier. Like that's what I'm saying. I think that the more experience you have in a game, the easier it gets. So any game, in my opinion, can be difficult because you can jump into something like, and I'm talking about on the hardest difficulty course. You can jump into something like, what's it called? Not Last of Us, but what's the other one called? Nathan Drake shit.
Uncharted.
You can jump into something like Uncharted, and that can feel difficult, at first until you get used to it. Same thing with like Last of Us, right? You put that on like a permadeath settings, and they increase the difficulty to the max. That shit can seem difficult, But if you get used to it, it's like, oh, okay. I don't encourage that. That shit sounds actually fucking like a headbanger, but that can be considered difficult. So I think it's all really subjective. But I guess the hardest game I've played recently, maybe,
But it's named like a top group because I have a hard time pinning down the one and two. Like what are nominees, right? So I'm thinking PvP.
Sekiro.
Kingdom Hearts.
PvE.
I got PvE. Talking about PvE.
Well, I was
or a single player.
Which one we were talking about?
Oh, I thought we were talking about single player.
Okay,
PvE. Single player.
Yeah.
Sekiro's making me bang my head against the wall. Yeah, that's a tough one right now. And then Star Wars. Let's say Star Wars. Star Wars is a good one for me. Yeah, I say Star Wars and Sekiro right now. Some headbangers. What about y'all?
Y'all ever play Streets of Rage?
Mm-mm.
You play anything that come out in the last decade, bro?
That boy named all 70s games. Damn, bro.
Yeah, we get why that was hard. With no memory cards back then. Huh? Okay, I'm thinking about it. Okay, hold on. There's a shit ton.
Set a year or a time.
I don't want to set a year. I just feel like you're naming old ass games, and like that's why I mentioned, hey, old games can be difficult, but sometimes it's just because of the way it was designed or the fact.
We'll do like 2010 right? And up.
Because like Resident Evil 1 is difficult, and that's 1999, or at least the remaster was there, and that's only difficult because like back then they don't lead you on the puzzles at all. I got lost at some point and just got off, never got back on.
We can do 2010.
I made it pretty far.
2010
and up, yeah. We can do 2010 and up.
2010 and up.
2010.
That was what? PS3, PS4.
Yeah, PS3, Xbox 360.
Xbox 360 because Xbox 360 was like the only console they really wanted to support till like 2018.
Damn, bro. Where'd that hate come from?
I'm a little upset about with Microsoft and how they went about with the Xbox 360 and how much they did for it.
I love the 360.
The 360 was a great console, but like a whole decade.
Yeah, it was working, right?
Damn.
You was playing games, wasn't you? You was in party chat, wasn't you? What's wrong with it?
When they start coming out with consoles every 2-3 years, then
They had PS2, PS3.
What's up?
I think PS4 was around when 360 was around.
It was.
Nah,
they didn't stop. They didn't
we talking about 3 whole console generations.
I mean, GTA 5 been on 3 generations.
We could get that. We could get to that.
What would constitute a hard
So off the top of my head, bro, I'm thinking.
Yeah, like, is it something you just couldn't beat at all?
3. Well, I mean, like,
okay, but the thing is about not beating the game though, because that can be more factors than it being difficult. I will say that majority of the people that don't like that put things down is because of the fact that they may run into some walls, some challenges, and they just may go, hey, you know what, a lot of humans don't like challenge. That's fine. Not really.
I was about to say difficulty can come in many forms. It's not.
It can come in many forms. You can have difficulty paying attention to a story. I mean, having a attention problem is difficult, right? I mean, that's kind of like a mind thing. I think, I don't know. I wouldn't say that I'd say maybe, I don't know. Do you think that's the biggest reason people put down games is because of the challenge? Or we just got a lot of factors into it?
I think there's a lot of factors.
There's a lot of factors into it. I think it depends on the game. Like when it comes to Elden Ring, right? If you quit it, it's most likely because of difficulty, because the game hits in like most other aspects, or just about every other aspect, right?
Yeah.
And then, but sometimes it's like also like going back to Resident Evil, right? Like Battle Hazard. If you go to the trophies, there's a huge jump off of people who completed the game, and like that's probably not even because of difficulty, but because it's scary and they just didn't want to keep going.
That'd be me.
Or you can look at games like Helldiver. Helldiver isn't really
that
difficult of a game. Well, it has several difficulties, and its final difficulty being Helldiver is a really challenging one. But it wasn't to say that it wasn't beatable or something. It's just at some point a game just becomes stale.
Repetitive, yeah, it's just stale. I'd say with that one, it's just stale. And I mean, and then sometimes difficulty I think can play a factor, but when you have other factors that's kind of overwhelming and you're like, this is hard too, I don't feel like even being on this, So like an example of that would be like a game that you're just not into, or is a game that's giving you a lot of problems additionally, like maybe like you got a game that's got a bad story or the combat sucks and this and that. And then it's like, all right, maybe it's a little bit difficult. Not difficult enough for me not to beat, but just the fact that it's got that extra challenge on top of all this bullshit that I don't feel like going through regardless anyway, I'm going to just put it down. So I feel like there's some games out there too like that, that people put, games down for. I think a big part of it is attention span though too, because especially like today, we live in a time where, if you're not captivated within the first few minutes, people are likely to put your product down, So I was reading some few arguments too with the Elden Ring. All right, because some people were making arguments that obviously it's a difficult game. Well, it's not easy, but a lot of people were upset that the game isn't as linear as they're used to, in other games, which I don't necessarily agree with people bashing a game for how it's not designed, but I can see their point. At that point, I would just say that the game's not for you, and I think that's okay. I don't know. I think we bash too many people for putting down games that's just not for them, and I think that's a problem too, because then it creates this like whole mindset that, oh, I have to play the fucking game because everybody else is playing it. So I'm gonna leave that there on my take, but that's just my take for that. I think that makes gaming kind of toxic at that point.
The reason I think Souls games are notorious for the difficulty, it isn't just because they're hard, but also because you don't have a choice. Like when Rain mentioned the Halo, he had to mention specifically solo and legendary, right? Because if you normally playing the game, that's not something you're just going to automatically do.
Yeah.
Whereas with Souls games, there is no difficulty option. You're playing this the way they intended you to play for the most part, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the reason why like that's just notorious because Souls games they're gonna make you play it their way. Most other games do it the complete opposite, right? Customer's always right type of incentive. I think that's why that game series has gotten that type of kind of notoriety.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just I don't know, that whole there's no set answer on what is difficult, I would say. I think Souls games, just like you said, they're just probably the top of they're the standard for what's considered a hard game right now, because they don't really give you much of a choice, and gamers aren't used to that. They're not used to coming into a game where they have no choice but to play the game this way. So I think that's kind of like an eye opener for a lot of gamers, and they're seeing this and they're like, oh shit, there's actually challenge in this, and people do run from challenges, so I can see where that comes from. But as far as difficult games, it's very hard to kind of pin on, and then also once you beat a game in your mind, it's like it's not even really difficult anymore, because you go back. There's been games where I've been headbangers on, and then I go back and beat it with breeze. I'm like, oh, so
yeah, but I think I'm talking in terms of relativity, because of course your second time doing something is going to be easier, right? But in terms of that first experience, right?
Yeah,
because also we can say, oh, game's difficult for this and that, and you can't really, it's not a one shoe fit size all type thing, but at the same time, you can be honest and be like, well, yeah, but I definitely had way more trouble learning this game the first time I did this game, even though they are different or something.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'd say it's that shit belongs to From Software for me. Definitely a large learning curve. I'm gonna throw Baldur's some love too on that. Baldur's is pretty difficult for me.
Have you done your honors mode run?
What is that?
Have you done yours, Striker?
Damn.
Yeah. Okay. That's because you said
I was just asking him. I was just asking him a question.
Damn well he hadn't done no honor mode run.
Right? I don't know what the hell that is. I don't know what the fuck that is.
Yeah, nah.
Baldur's is pretty difficult for me.
Did you?
I'm gonna try. Yeah, I'm gonna try. I lost, but I went through and did the whole game honor mode just to see. And let me tell you, it's not that bad. But when you get to Act 3, you ignore them motherfucking side quests, because Cazador don't play. Them Sharons don't fucking play. Man, they nasty. And then the brain, oh my god, the brain don't play neither. But I'm gonna try it again one day, probably.
Just take Gale.
Huh?
Just take Gale is all I'm hearing.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm gonna do next time. Fuck, I ain't doing that final fight.
For real.
And nah, for real, Gale dying in my next playthrough, 100%.
Oh, kill him
for a good cause.
Fuck him.
Damn. Okay, not like that. I ain't gonna be the one killing him. It's
100%.
But yeah, no, and I'm not doing the motherfucker side quests. I'm gonna go for completion. But yeah, it's
you could finish the game and that. Well, does it still credit you?
I think that's a game. That's a game over screen, buddy.
Yeah.
I don't know why people believe that I can complete the game like that. That was a meme. But yeah, no. But yeah, I'll definitely give it to Baldur's Gate. It is difficult once again, but that's just that's strategy. It's not even game. What you call
gameplay
reactions? It's just being smart and shit. Strategizing and shit.
It makes you think.
Yeah, I didn't go to the House of Hope in my playthrough either, because I should have.
But as I was saying, these games have different levels of difficulty. Because I think the most difficult thing for me in Elden Ring, at least for me, is the open world aspect. I like it, but it's definitely new to me. As far as everything just being completely open and you don't know what you're gonna run into. At least for your first playthrough, you don't know what you're gonna run into. You're going into everything blind, and that learning curve on itself is very large. And so you kind of gotta literally explore. Or like I said, I mean, you can go and mainstream it, streamline it, and do what you want to do and bang your head against the wall if you want to. But for me, that whole having to bounce back from lore over here and connect it over here and just connect all these dots within the game, it's a beautiful aspect. I do appreciate it, but that is probably the most difficult thing for me, especially kind of keeping track of all of it and kind of having to go back and look stuff up or know where this is or what this does. Because I had to look up online on how to get in this damn gate. I'm like, what key? Like, I definitely don't have the key, but where's the key? So doing stuff like that, I'm not used to in games. I kind of
Are you
just
talking about to get into the Luke Hare Academy?
yeah, we're all like the graveyard shit.
Like with the magic gate, the key
Yes,
behind the dragon?
yes, yep. Key
Yeah,
behind the
there was
dragon. Yep. I
by the
found
gate
it.
there was a note
Yeah,
on the dead body.
on the dead body.
Yeah, it was a picture of a map.
Well, it was saying go to the dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I probably missed that. But I looked it up, found it, but still.
I mean, like Souls games don't streamline you nowhere near as much as other games do.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's just the most difficult aspect for me. You know, I'm used to things being like, okay, I'm used to things being so linear that when you get to a point like that, you already have what you need. Or if you don't have what you need, you know, you like shown exactly where to go. And, you know, games with arrows and stuff like that, that's what I'm used to. So, you know, the learning curve for that is definitely showing. It's an eye opener. But I definitely do appreciate it because it makes me think more, which I enjoy doing. But in that aspect, that's what makes it most difficult for me. And then, yeah, that's all I got to say on that.
Yeah, I didn't know about activating great runes till like the end of my first run for real.
Yeah,
it was a while.
Yeah,
but
there's a lot. There's a lot.
Outside of those like games though. Well, no, we didn't even hit on PvP for real. I know Striker said RuneScape.
Mm-hmm.
No one else has any comparison notes. Sorry, old man. But
I mean, the game is still around.
No,
yeah, they know we're trying to do that. Oh, well, you got somebody.
No,
you got a buddy.
But just like a
I lied.
A hard PvP
yeah, similar.
What would constitute that?
Wait, can you say that question again?
What would constitute like a hard PvP game?
In my idea, I'm thinking like any game where like first of all top end, so like you had to have known you were like in like the top at least top 10 percentile of players or know what that experience is like, even if you wasn't personal, right? And like playing a game at like a meta level.
Smite.
Like, that's fair. Yeah.
Smite for sure. Honestly, Smite.
Pokemon.
Forgot all about Smite. Oh, Smite 2 comes out. Oh shit.
I'd say Pokemon for sure, and this one's a really popular one, and it has a whole community, like VGC community.
What Pokemon game?
Any of them, really, like any Pokemon game, like the whole, especially like when you release a new generation.
What makes them difficult?
There's a multitude of things, like the synergies between some of the mons and whatnot, how you can preset. I mean, Pokemon does have they really do push that rock, paper, scissors concept. So kind of swapping, but knowing when to swap and what's safe to swap to, in case you're outmatched versus per type. Items that you can have your Pokemons held, move sets that's not just aggressive move sets, but also passive, that builds up Pokemon's purpose and what they're supposed to do. Like there's a whole like spreadsheet on
Here's
this
my
thing.
thing about that though. I don't know if that's too valid, because I get what you're saying, and I do believe in this from a strategist point of view. Yes, that is difficult, but because there is no actual player intensity, anyone could just do enough research and become a top tier player. But whereas, a game where like Smite, right? You could do top tier research to know who the best gods are, what the best builds are. But if you can't land your shots, you can't land your abilities, that ain't gonna do jack shit for you. You know what I mean? Whereas Pokemon is just purely a card game. Knowledge is everything.
No, I'm not talking about the card game. I'm talking about the VGC.
What's the VGC?
The video game.
Video game series. Oh.
Wait,
what?
Video
you
VGC
play that the
is
same way.
Oh,
right?
VGC.
Like you. So how's the gameplay go in that?
I mean, you got your 6. You gotta have your movesets.
Yeah, so it's a turn-based where you choose moves, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could literally have the same team as your opponent.
Yeah, so like, okay, what I'm saying is, so like when you're playing FPS, you can miss shots, right? But in Pokemon, it's not like that. You press the move and they do it. And yeah, they can miss, but that's up to like a random number generator or whatever. It's not like you know what I mean? It's not like there's no player, there's no room for player error. It's
you
besides
can actually like
strategies.
build up to where you don't. Like there's certain things and like sets and put certain Pokemons that you can put out beforehand to kind of set up so that moves has a better chance of landing
Okay,
than
yeah,
its
but okay.
than its
So
base
yeah,
accuracy.
but that's all like thinking and strategy, right? Okay, so
Right.
what I'm saying for Pokemon, right, is I could have never played a Pokemon game a day in my life, do research on whichever one game, like I'm gonna play you in, and even though I've never touched the game before then, because I did the research, I have all the tools I need to win. Whereas I can't do that with Smite, because if I've never touched Smite a day in my life, it don't matter if I know the meta builds. I'm getting shit on. You know what I mean? But Pokemon, there's no room for player error for real, besides just like thinking error.
That's the same thing though. Like because
No, it's
literally you
not.
could
'Cause,
apply
like,
that same kind of knowledge, the same kind of concept to Smite or any of these games where
like, you
you can
can't.
literally look up builds and you could
Okay,
look up movesets for a
okay,
certain
okay. Actually,
champion
perfect
and their
example,
gameplay.
right? Perfect example. You looked up an Elden Ring build and didn't complete that run. You gave up on that character. Why? Because there's room for player error. So no, the knowledge doesn't do anything for you if you don't have the skill to back it up. That's what I mean. In Pokemon, you don't need skill. It's a purely a turn-based game where
I wouldn't say it that much. Like I don't care how much you've researched and whatnot. I feel you wouldn't stand a chance against like these champions or these pros. It don't matter how many hours of research that you've done versus the experience that they have. Like you're still gonna get outclassed and outplayed by their experience.
yeah, but
And
That's
that's
fair.
guarantee the
any
pros
game.
have
That's any PvP game. Like I feel like you're going into this with just kind of like a bias on MOBAs versus strategy games.
No, I just used my example because John mentioned it. There are plenty of other games. Call of Duty. You can look up the best loadout for Call of Duty, but if you can't hit your shots, that gun ain't gonna do shit for you, right?
I
Because
mean,
there's
no,
room
yeah,
for
of
player
course.
error there. There's no room for player error in a
Right,
game
and
that's
all I'm
purely
saying is that
turn-based.
there's the same in these games, in these Pokemon games. There is room for player error as well in these
So,
games.
like, give me an example.
You select the wrong moves or you use the wrong moves to set up,
Okay, so
or you're just
so
hot swapping just
is
because
it
you're hot swapping and you
is it
see
likely for a player to accidentally swap when they don't mean to? Is that something they can do by
if
pressing the wrong button and it just
they
happens?
can, yeah. There's
Is
nothing
that
that
something that realistically happens in the competition?
it doesn't. I mean, is it likely that someone can actually select the quit button instead of just hitting back from the shop menu?
What
Is
the
it
fuck does that
likely? I
even
mean,
mean?
exactly. Like I'm trying
Oh,
to
okay,
figure out like
okay.
what you're
Look,
trying to
look.
get
Okay,
at.
let me. What I'm getting at is in a turn-based game, there is no room for error, right? Like John for Wizard 101. How likely is it that you just choose to play the wrong card?
Not that likely.
Not that likely, right? So there's very little room for player error. If you lose, it's because you made the wrong moves, but you didn't miss a shot. You didn't miss a goal or something. Like things where there's room for player error. There's no room for.
And
There's not
that's
much
the
room for
aspect
player
that I'm
error in that.
getting at. You're dismissing that as a player error. You're just stating,
No,
"Oh,
okay,
you
no. What I'm
lost
saying
because."
is no. See, what I'm saying is it has that, but these other games have that and the aspect I'm talking about, whereas Pokemon only has one, so I don't think it's as difficult. I think, like, I legitimately think, like, yeah, sure, some pro with years of experience is gonna beat me if I go and do research, but like, I could probably look up the best setups for Pokemon, shit like that, and do well against your average player. Whereas if
I mean,
you
yeah,
can't do that with other games because like you need the skill to back it up, right? Because there's actual player input. I don't know if I'm using the right word for it, right? Like there's little room for player error in a turn-based game. Is what I'm saying. So I don't think it's very legit to say Pokemon is one of the hardest games there because like it's not like in Smash, right? You can look up a guy's move set, but it's not to use the character and get used to it that it actually means anything, right?
Mhm.
Same thing. Like, but in a purely turn-based card game or anything where it's just
I
you
feel like this
selectively do
just
this
goes
action.
into the same whole argument and like kind of discussion in like these genres of games and their game types. Like how we mentioned, where like in the
Yeah, no, no,
PvE
no, no,
aspect.
no. But we were talking about the PVE. Right now, we're talking about PvP, player versus
No, no,
player.
I
That's
know.
why I think Pokemon
I
isn't
don't
legit
think
because there's not room for player error. Player error
it's a
doesn't matter
legit
in
thing though.
PvE games
It's a
because
legit
you have
thing.
to play in reaction to the PC, the AI. But
I
in
got
PvP, it's harder if there's actual. You know what I mean? Like in Destiny, like if you're playing Crucible, right? It doesn't matter if you have the best gun in the game. If you can't hit your shots, you're not gonna get kills. Right? If you have the best Pokemon in the game, you're gonna win, right? Because that's the best Pokemon in the fucking game. It doesn't
Not
matter.
necessarily.
Yeah,
I got
yeah, but not
No, but I
necessarily
see what you're
according to
saying.
stats.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
see what you're
exactly.
saying. Yeah.
I do got a question.
Yeah.
Was this like personal, or just are we talking in general what we think the hardest PvP game
In
is? Are we
general.
talking from personal
General.
experience or in general?
Add your
I say
personal
personal experience.
right?
Yeah, personal experience.
So personal or general?
Personal.
It can only be personal.
I want to hear your answers for both. Like, what's the difference?
Because I mean, if that's his personal experience, then you wouldn't be able to say that it wasn't like a difficult PvP experience, I guess. If he's saying it was difficult for him personally.
I mean, but that comes back to the thing of relativity, where it's like, yeah, sure, that was hard for you, but can you admit that it's harder for you to do X, Y, Z instead? Can you not admit that? Can you I'm not saying that top level Pokemon wouldn't be hard to learn or play. But what I'm saying is it'd be much harder for him to get to a high meta level of a game like Smite. I know it's completely different, but I think the point stands. Like, I could get to that top level Pokemon before I get to that top level Smite, because the work you have to put in and the things you have to learn for both, it's a vast difference. I get y'all know what I'm talking about. Like, in a game where there's not room for player error, where you're just playing cards or something, and it's just a thinking game, there's less room for error. Because like when you think about something physical like sports, right? Yeah, you have to take the shot, but you also got to think about it. You got to do both. But when in a game where you just have to think, that's a less room for you to mess up. Is what I'm saying. So is it really more difficult in that case? Like, yeah, of course, chess is a difficult game, right? But there's no way in hell you're gonna accidentally move your knight to the wrong position and it's fucking stuck there. Like, no, it's not how the game works.
Actually, you can. There is a thing. That's why they made.
Yeah, you take your hand off a piece, but I mean, like, you just move it to the wrong. That's not like
that's miscalculation.
Not a miscalculation. I'm talking about okay, so like say you take a
like
bishop,
accidentally move the piece like completely.
Yeah, exactly. You can't accidentally move a piece you didn't fucking mean to. You can't, you know what I mean? Like everything is on purpose.
Gotcha. Funny enough, that there has been stories and things that people, even pros, place in pieces that they were thinking about a different piece, and they assumed the piece was that they were holding, and they moved it in a certain way, thinking or not realizing that they were actually holding a different piece.
Yeah, just the chances of that happening are like low to none.
It's low. Granted, yeah.
An FPS game, like how often you miss shots? Most players miss at least 50%.
I'm just saying it can't happen.
It definitely can happen if you just make a dumb move, but like it's nowhere near a norm for you to use to make a situation that game is hard, because no, that's not a normal thing that happens.
But that doesn't change the difficulty of its game. I mean, chess is still probably one of the most challenging games.
Okay, yeah, okay. So like, we're talking about chess, right?
Yeah,
we're talking about chess, right? Yeah, sure. Chess is difficult. Okay, if you take somebody who's never played chess and never played football, which one are they going to get easier at first? They're going to get down first.
Football.
I'd say football. Yeah.
Like to the top end. No, we're talking about top end. You think somebody
the top end? Chess.
Exactly. You think someone who's never touched the football a day in their life is going to get in there and go to the NFL and go to the Super Bowl?
Yes.
So you think they'll do that sooner than they would be able to go to like a grandmaster chess master?
Chess is very.
I'd say football.
Chess.
Yeah.
It's definitely chess.
Be for real. And that's what I'm talking about, because when it comes to football, yeah, there's the thinking, but you also have the the physicality to back it up. There's another element there, and that's what I mean.
Yeah, but that's still something you can control.
Then the probability of you getting hurt, you gotta work around that.
I'm taking this in the realm or the aspect of like things that you can control. So you can control how strong you are. You can control how agile you are. These are things that you can train for.
Not necessarily. Hold on though.
Chess faster.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna pause on that though. You can't control your aspects of your body. Some people are just genetically built different. Like, I'm just keep it like that.
I mean, in that same argument, you could say some people just aren't that mentally capable.
They aren't. Niggas stupid.
But like you're saying that.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's kind of a.
So why are you assuming?
I know. No, hold on, because chess is different though. I've seen some dumb motherfuckers beat the shit out of me in chess.
Wait.
Not gonna lie. I've had it happen.
Did you assume to be dumb?
I don't think you understood what he was saying.
What happened?
Like what he said actually contradicted what he was agreeing with, and y'all just like let it ride. But
what happened?
Because you were saying people like genetically, sometimes are built that way, and then he was like, he said that's they not doing something. In other words, he's saying they not putting in enough effort to change that.
Oh no, you can't change genetics, my boy. Or you can go on some tests. Yeah, you can, but that ain't legal in the league, so you can't do that. So
What are you talking about?
It was like back on what you said because you know what I'm saying, you saying that someone could like change how much like their speed, agility, and things like that. Like
I mean,
I
yeah,
think what
those
they're
are
trying to
things you can train.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can
but,
change
like,
your speed and
Do you
agility.
really
That's
think they'll do that before they'll learn the game of chess? Is what I'm saying. You think they'll learn how to
No.
do all that
There
and
you
get
go.
to the league before they could get to a grandmaster chess? Like, no.
I don't
Yeah,
think
I
they'll do
think that's
either.
something that's a more feasible task than actually learning or expecting. Because here's the thing, chess there's a lot of fronts to chess that people just don't understand, and they see chess as a game. And sure, it's a strategy game and it's challenging, but there's a lot more to chess other than just kind of how pieces move and the objectives of the game.
Bro,
Like
Yeah,
you
there
no
are
have
kids.
shit.
a
I
whole
mean, but
there's a
once
bunch of
again,
theories and
There are
whatnot.
kids that are high ranked in that. There are no kids in the NFL.
bro, I'm saying like, but we're talking about in our hypothetical, this person, split it. There's two people, same exact person. They are the same exact. They are clones of each other. One's pursuing a career in chess, the other is pursuing a career in the NFL. Who's gonna make it to the top leagues first?
Chess.
Chess.
The competition to get into the league is just too competitive in the nation. It's just the likelihood of someone even making it to the league is slim to none. Like, it's just off rip. So
I mean, those are just some
you gotta
minor
do it off
cases.
probability.
Like
Minor,
it's not even probable. Yeah, it's not even probable. Like it's
Well,
rare to
I
really
mean,
have those kind of
bro. There are
geniuses and
freak
whatnot. People
athletes
that
who
can really
never see the league. There are athletes in this country right now who are probably better than the top 10 players in the league, and they never saw the league. Like a lot of that has to do with who you know as well. A lot of that has to do with your opportunities, like scouting. Like a lot of that. There's so many factors that go into the chances of you getting into the league that are just so overwhelming. You know,
I don't even want to make it a focus on getting into the league itself, but I mean, like, in terms of like learning the game to its utmost and being able to play in a competitive environment at the utmost, like, efficiency. What's happening first between chess and football? And it's definitely chess. And I'm not saying, and that's not us not to saying chess isn't difficult at all, because it is difficult.
Very difficult.
What I'm saying is that, like, because with football, they like you're also like we're also talking about he has to learn the game of football from scratch. Learning the game of football and then applying that and being able to play it at a top level. That's not going to happen for someone is going to be able to learn and play chess at a top level, because like with the chess, it's literally just learn how the pieces move, right?
Mm-hmm.
Learn the strategies and the theories and then apply them. That's it. You don't have to train anything like outside of just playing the game.
That's it.
Whereas with football, you're gonna have to train shit. You got to train your endurance, your stamina, your speed. If you're throwing the ball,
right,
your strength.
you just got to train physical. That's it.
But also you're acting like
every
football players. You're
every
acting like
no
football players
plays.
don't do anything mental. You're saying that like football players don't do anything mental. They have to learn plays. They have to memorize plays. They have to watch tapes of their fucking opponents, know what they're gonna do. No defenses, no offense. Like there's a mental aspect to football.
Sure.
As well.
You got to do the same thing in chess. Like there's a whole aspect of how my opponent's going to play, their preferred theory, their preferred opening and whatnot, and then their line that they're actually going to take and objectives. I'm just doing what you're doing right now. It's all I'm doing.
What you're doing is talking over me, bro, when I'm trying to say something, okay?
Right, you're doing the same thing.
Look,
you're doing the same thing. Like,
we
can't do this. You don't. You really don't, because then you'll cut me off to try to state your point.
You know what?
Your point with a bunch of words.
Well, we're not going to get democracy, right? Is it not 3-1? So let's just go to the next argument, because it's 3-1.
Damn, bro.
Who wants to keep saying that because you just want to be right, bro? I don't get your need to want to be right.
Interesting.
It doesn't
matter.
What
are you getting at then? Are you not trying to get into wanting to be right? You're just stating a bunch of information just to state the information?
No, I'm not. Striker, that's what you do, Striker. And my undergrad, a lot of times we ask shit. No, I don't. Oh my, you see what I mean? Like, I'm trying to explain shit to you and you won't let me. Look, like, I feel like you literally you spill a lot of unnecessary information when we ask for answers, right? Because when I said, what's the most difficult game you played, you mentioned Castlevania and you proceeded to tell me about like the functions of how the game was built. That wasn't relevant to the question at all. You just spill a lot of unnecessary info to like make your answer sound smarter than it is, to make you sound correct. But it's never the case. And with this one, right, what I'm saying is chess, yes, it's a difficult game. I'm not taking away from that at all. But it is only a mental game. So another game that is both a mental and physical game, both at once, that is inherently just going to be more difficult to become the best at, because you have to work on both aspects, whereas chess is only one aspect of it. So if you have the mental, you can do it. But you can have the mental to like know all the plays and everything in the sport. But if you don't have the physicality to back it up, what the fuck does that matter? It doesn't,
And like what I was saying was, you can easily build on that physicality, but
You can
sometimes the
easily
mental
build on it.
you can't train your mind, and some people just can't train their mind to get there, which is what I was stating. So that's why I said chess will be a harder game to get into and make it at that level of to playing
Okay.
at
For
grandmaster.
everyone here, in y'all opinion, what is harder to train, your mind or your body? To this speak, what's harder to train? I think your body is definitely harder to train because there's some things outside your control, and then it's honestly it's a big challenge. A lot of people give up on. Like a lot of people don't make it to peak body, but just because not because they don't want it, but because they just don't want to put in that work.
For me,
but
it's your
you could
mind.
want it.
Like yeah,
I'd say it's
You
your
could
mind
want
for
it.
me.
You just
I feel like it's
your
harder
mind.
to
You could
change
want it,
your,
but if you don't
your
have your
body
mind,
because it's not just a physical struggle, it's also a mental struggle because your mind's going to try to tell you to give up before your body actually wants or can, I guess.
But then that would make it harder to train your mind.
exactly.
But that's why I said when you're training physically, you're actually like it's also a mental struggle. So I was noting both. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
well, I mean, yeah, no, that's valid. But as someone who trains, I'd say like that's a hard question because, like, look at people like Hansen, right? Hansen has a very difficult time training his body because of his genetics. Like his metabolism is so fucking high that he literally burns so he cannot hold any fat, so he can't gain weight. It's hard for his body to build muscle, so he has to go to the extremities. Someone like me, I can cut weight and gain weight super easily. I've always been able to. So I feel like that's another thing based off your genetics as well. That's a whole different conversation, but I agree with Rain. A lot of that in most of physical training is mental. Like that has anybody can fucking go train, but do you have the discipline to wake up every day and go train? Do you have the discipline to go diet to correlate with your training? Do you have the discipline to, put yourself through all these programs? Do you have the discipline to be consistent with it? That's going to affect the physicality of your physique. And so that comes down to mental. Like there's no training without your mind being strong. There's just not. So I'd say your mental has to be, it's harder to train your mentality than it is to train your body, because you can't have you're not going to have anything physical without your mind being intact. I'm gonna just say that right now. But I'd say that's a bad supporting argument for your argument raiser, because those two, I'd say that's entirely different. So I see what you're saying, but that's completely up in the air. Because with the whole argument with the chess versus the football thing, right? I agree with you when it comes to I agree with your argument on the chess, but trying to correlate to that, I don't think that's a very good link, because technically it's harder to train your mind than it is your body.
Because like the thing I was getting at right with that is basically like, yeah, you can train once you train your mind to do something and you have that mentality is there with physical, there's certain like going back to video games, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can train yourself to know what the best cards and metas and stuff is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, and then you could try to work on your aim for, let's say that's the physical part. And yeah, you can probably know what to do, but like, that in itself isn't going to make your aim better. And right. And just because you're training your aim doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have aim better than like 90% of the other players, right? That's why people like Shroud and stuff like stick out. Cause like who has aim like him besides fucking him, right? He's like, or like, fucking, I can't think of anyone else top of my head. But that's what I was trying to get at, right? Where like, yeah, with mental, I feel like, yes, it's tough to train your mental. And like, I was a little too broad with that because I was still pertaining to the chess football thing. And that's what I meant. But like, when you're training your mental, or someone with the capability to train mental, like once you gain that capability and you do it, that knowledge is there, right? You have that knowledge. There is no taking it from you. And there's no big reach to get it besides just reading it and understanding it, right? Whereas with physicality, you can know what to do, but still there's still that aspect of you can fuck up, right? There's still that aspect you can fuck up. You can't, like, once you know what 2 + 2 is, it'll always be 4. Right. And of course, when you go to higher maths, you can definitely fuck it up and they get the wrong answers because you did the math wrong. But for the most part, once you know a formula, once you know it, you know how it goes down. I know how to throw a football, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to be on target every single time I throw a football just because I know how.
That's true.
Right. And that's what I'm getting at. Like with the Pokemon thing, like it's like, yeah, you definitely can be hard learning how to play Pokemon and what to do at the top level. But once you have that knowledge, it is there. You're not fucking that up. Versus like some FPS, just because you trained your aim doesn't mean you're always going to hit that shot.
And it is a perishable skill for FPS, I would say. FPS, dude, it is kind of perishable.
Right. So once again, kind of tying all that back to the whole Pokemon and that Smite conversation and whatnot. Like I said, I acknowledged everything you was talking about. Like absolutely, I agree. What I was stating was there's still an aspect of Pokemon that I feel like you still don't quite get and understand, and maybe just because you never played it in that sense. And there's more to just the whole ABCD answer type deal, and the accuracy thing. There's more things that you have in your control that can cause or lead to player error just because either the player doesn't know or the player set up incorrectly versus what the opponent may have, because what the roster that the other player has is not generally always public knowledge unless you're in an actual like tournament setting. And at that point, people are usually communicating and describing what they're saying. But within the game shows the Pokemon as Pokeballs and whatnot when you're versing or playing against each other. I don't know if they changed that in the newer games where they do reveal the entire Pokemon team. But aside just looking at the icon, and knowing the characters and their entire moveset pool on what they can learn, you don't know the items that they have, nor the abilities that they have or traits that they have, so you may not set up properly versus those things to allow you to actually have a successful match against that opponent, which is what caused to those player errors and getting outplayed, which is what I'm talking about. And I feel like you just don't understand that aspect because you're just viewing the MOBA aspect in the sense of actually landing shots and things like that, and just kind of leaning off of that versus seeing the more strategy sides of things. And that's why I was stating that the PvP section can be split off into other categories such as strategies, MOBAs, and those PvP difficulties.
I'd agree with that. That's valid, but yeah, I agree with that because that kind of applies to everything. I can say the same about like with the Wizard 101, like because there've been people who come in and be like, oh, how can this be difficult? But there's like so many aspects that people don't understand and the complexity of the game, especially as you get higher levels and learn different spells and then branch off to these different spells and then combine these spells with different things, and then you got the gear aspect, and then you have like it's just so much that goes into, and I'm talking about a PvP aspect, but there's just so much that goes into it that people think, oh, well, like what Razor was saying, like there's limit on, user error or player error. But then there's so many factors that play into it that player error kind of has emphasis in different areas at that point, But I'm not trying to like speed anything up, but I got to go to work soon. But I'd agree with you what you're saying, Striker. Anybody else got anything to add?
No, I guess not.
Not to that. No.
Sure. And then add period. I mean, I got about another 15 minutes. If y'all got something to say, I just got to go grab my pants.
Hardest PvP game I think I've ever played personally would probably be Hell Let Loose.
What's that?
It's a realism, like I want to say it's based on World War One. I want to say it's based on World War One, but it's a realism game. It's obviously a first-person shooter.
What console?
I think it's on Game Pass for sure, but it might be on PC too. But it's like I think 32 versus 32 or 16v16, and it's very, very realistic. As in the bombs, explosions, the environment, the soldiers, outfits, weapons they use, everything like that. You can get shot like once or twice and die for sure. It's usually like TTKs are very quick because of how realistic it is. And,
no mini maps.
Yeah, no mini maps.
No HUD either.
Yeah, actually. Yeah. It's a fun experience for a little while.
You put that over
Tarkov? Difficult wise over Tarkov?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like Tarkov's not difficult if you get into it like at the start. But once you get into like niggas ratting, then it becomes difficult for like newer players. But it's not an all in all difficult game. That game I think is kind of difficult, and if you're not playing with people, like comms are horrible, so it'll be challenging. And then, but all in all, I think it's really good or fun, I guess. And that's as a first person shooter game. Like a difficult game, if we're talking competitive, I would have to say League of Legends. I got up to Emerald in that. But, yeah. You guys know what that toilet bowl of a game is. So no need to explain why it's so difficult or about any of that stuff, I guess.
What's a toilet bowl of a game? Well, if y'all got no more save rounds, I got no more save rounds. We can kind of go more into this because I got a branch argument for this for the next podcast, but I'm gonna wrap up if y'all good. All right, wrapping up this episode, we want to thank everyone who made it this far in today's show. All we ask for your appreciation is for you to spread the love by sharing the podcast with a friend. While you're ready, go ahead and drop us a 5-star rating on the supporting platforms. This helps the algorithm promote our show, which helps us with bringing in new listeners. Don't forget, if you want to reach out and keep up with us, you can always find us in our Discord server over at discord.gg/thesummit. Thank y'all for tuning in. And as always, we will see y'all next week. Peace.